And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. As you guys can see, the person on the screen right now is Joe, Echo Based Collectibles. He is easily one of my top favorite people in this entire hobby to talk to. He has an absolutely amazing perspective. He has one of the most underrated YouTube channels out there. His insights, his knowledge, just his conversation is fantastic. And in today's video, we're going to do something very awesome. We're going to have a conversation. Is it potential that Pokemon is close to its healthiest time that we've ever seen Pokemon as a hobby? And before we get into that, real quick, I do want to just say, first off, thank you, Joe, for coming on this
Yes.
channel, donating me your time. But before we get into the meat and bones of this actual video, what have you been up to just in the hobby in general? Anything
Uh
exciting?
yeah, it's been fun. It's been really fun since so a lot going on. Thank you so much for having me back on, by the way. Love doing these. You're one of my favorite people to talk to. Been watching all of your streams and chomping at the bit to jump in and talk to. You've had on some fantastic dude, the one you did right off the bat with Rattle and Cool Trainer Ryan and then getting Rev to jump in. I was just like it was so cool, man. It's like that was amazing. It was awesome. So yeah, I've been it's been a great it's been a great time. It's been a great time in the hobby. I've been enjoying it, but in a way different way than I was last year. Um so what have I been up to? So my primarily the newest thing for me is about 3 months ago I got accepted on Whatnot. So that's been chewing a ton of my time. Because, unlike, any sort of other method of selling off your collection being more passive, it's very active. Obviously, you have to stream. So it's very time engaging and it takes time and then you have to do shipping and all that. So it's been chewing a good 20-25 hours of my week. I stream 5 times a week. Um, but it's been fantastic, both good and bad. I've made a lot of friends. I've met a lot of cool people. I always shout out my Instagram on my channels, and a lot of people follow up, and like I've been connecting with people that way, which I freaking love. It's been fantastic. I've been to like there's lots of people that are collectors just like us, and they're active on Whatnot, and I would have never met these people. And it's awesome. Like I love seeing like when I either sell singles to somebody, like I literally have people like the other day I had a lady um jump in one of my streams and she didn't buy a single thing and I don't care. We were just opening Fusion and she was like, oh, I really need a Kangaskhan. Like I really need a Kangaskhan to complete my collection, just a simple rare. And I was like, dude, I have like a million of them. I was like, yeah, send me your address. I'll send it to you. So the point is that like once she sent me her address in the email, she was like, oh, by the way, my 7-year-old daughter, she loves Litwick. If you have any Litwicks, just if you wouldn't
Litwick,
mind.
huh?
Litwick, right? And this is what I love about our hobby. Whose favorite Pokemon out there is Litwick?
No, I
Like, but
totally like it
somebody,
though.
right? Somebody.
Yeah.
So I had no idea. I had to Google it, and thanks Bulbapedia. Like, apparently there's black and white sets that were the first Litwick Pokemon was in black and white. So I actually had I think it was either Noble Victories or Merging Powers. Yeah, I went right over. I only had master sets for those, but I pulled the reverse and I pulled the normal and I was like, here you go, have them. Like, but that's sort of like, and then she emailed me back with a little picture of her daughter holding it. I was like, that's priceless right there. That's priceless. Like
And it's a
it's
good thing you did that. Yeah.
but it's like it's what I used to do when I ran leagues. Like that's what I like about the hobby. So I've been doing a lot more of that, and I'm going to Secaucus regionals coming up in New Jersey. So that'll be blast. That'll be fun. I can't wait to play again. And then I'm really looking forward to league opening back up. So it was announced that there's when the Go set's released, there's going to be a partnership with leagues. Leagues are going to be Pokemon Go stops, and there's going to be exclusive cards and promos that are going to
Okay.
be
I didn't know all that.
Oh yeah, who was it? Beach, Poke Beach,
Poke
just
Beach.
post.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it was like a day ago. Um, but I find that interesting because I want to register my two leagues, but I can't reactivate my leagues yet because like if you still go to try and activate them on the site, it still says we're in lockdown, you can't blah blah
Oh,
blah. So I don't know. Every day I go to the site and I check to see like when registration will start back. so that I can, order the supplies and stuff to get this going again. But that I'm really looking forward to it. I've always been a player. So, and that's where I get, the most enjoyment out of. And it's going to tie into our topic that we're going to do here. But that's pretty much, that's what I've been up to a lot of. And I have a lot of personal stuff going on. I'm getting married in November.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So we're trying to get the house ready. I'm becoming a stepdad of a 12-year-old boy and a 14-year-old girl. So doing some construction on my house, trying to get some, I had a 3-bedroom. We need to make it a 4-bedroom. So had some construction done. That's been interesting. Then we're trying to prep the wedding and the move and everything. So a lot going on there. It's why I haven't been as active on YouTube between that and whatnot. It's taken a lot of my free time away, but I hope to be able to do more of these and jump in some more other people's lives and stuff more as stuff starts to settle into the summer and stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, no, I'm glad it sounds like you've been pretty busy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for everybody out there, the topic is this the healthiest Pokemon hobby we've ever seen? And the reason I needed to bring Joe on is because Joe's, I would call it at this point, just expertise of knowledge of the hobby for a certain timeline. Because keeping in mind, Joe got out of the hobby when a lot of us were just re-entering or rediscovering Pokemon. We're talking from, let's just call it X and Y up to present. And yes, obviously he jumped back in very recently, but this is a man who has been to, different worlds. He was in the 2003 worlds. He placed top 10 there. We're talking somebody who, when I think of 2003, I think of, we already came out of the Pokemon hype. We went through the boom, which was based at Jungle Fossil, Team Rocket. And then by 2003, and we got into the e-reader sets, and you get into the change in hands of Nintendo and Wizard of the Coast. Like, that is an area that whatever knowledge I have is always secondhand knowledge, meaning I've either read articles on it, I've talked to people in the hobby, but I didn't experience that because I was out, like I've mentioned on this channel before, super early into Team Rocket. Like maybe I opened 2 packs and I didn't even know until I went back and looked at my sets. So your ability to actually like explain to us, what was that time like? What was the health of the hobby then? And for everybody out there might hear health of the hobby and say, what are you talking about? Like Pokemon prices have crashed. We're coming out of like the boom. Things are not as like everything goes to the moon. That is so different than health of the hobby. Health is drastically different. So that's really what today's video is going to be based on. And I do want to talk about one thing, and then we'll bounce a lot of, I know this is going to be a good conversation, but the first thing I was thinking about, like when you talk about the health of this hobby, one of the things that was needed to get us back to a healthy hobby, because I would say for a large majority towards the end of 2020 and most of 2021, I would say that Pokemon as a whole was probably in a relatively unhealthy area, meaning prices were unjustified. Prices were not going to last. They weren't sustainable. Modern not being available at retail was a super unhealthy thing. So I kind of want to talk about that first. Is just, for me, a healthy hobby is you could go into your local Walmart or Target and pick up product and have it be available on the shelves. Like that's the first part of a healthy hobby. And I think we're starting to get there.
So interesting. So I want to take everyone back for a second. I want everyone to think about a few things. First and foremost, for the audience that's listening to this, we are kind of a niche within this hobby of ours. And I think everybody forgets that. Pokemon being a multi-billion-dollar franchise, I would say upwards of, actually, it's probably a statistic, and I don't know it off the top of my head, but somebody probably does. The amount of sales for our hobby that are associated with Walmart and Target alone, it's probably, I forget the distributor that exclusively supplies them.
MJ Holding.
They are probably, I would say, if I had to guess off the top of my head, 70%, 60 to 70% of all modern allocations goes to MJ Holding to get distributed through the big box chains throughout the country and abroad. So we need to put that in perspective, everybody. You need to stop and think about this for a second. There is a reason that Pokemon popularity and the whole health of our hobby. No one wants this to die. And if everyone's ideal world, Pokemon would go strong for the next 30 years. In order for that to happen, this hobby needs to remain healthy. We cannot falter. We can't have a stale hobby. We can't have things die. We have to have interest consistently being garnered. The way that that has historically happened, as far as my perspective that I've seen, is honest to God through kids. The most of this sales for Pokemon cards, most of this hobby has always been geared towards children. So much so that at one point in time, Wizards of the Coast was thinking about doing away with the 15 plus age division. They were going to do away with it. It was not going to be a thing anymore. It's a long time ago. And there was a lot of discussion when Nintendo took over about doing that, doing away with 15 plus. Pokemon Company International, their main concern is to sell Pokemon cards and to sell an experience to children. We have a privilege to enjoy this hobby, is the way I look at it, as adults. A lot of us were children when this came out, so we have the nostalgia factor, and they are doing more and more for the older crowd. There's more product releases that are targeted towards the older crowd, but large majority, this is for children. So to your point of, yes, it is absolutely healthy that once again, Timmy and Susie can walk into Target with their mom and go over to the Pokemon section and buy cards and open them and pull the Rayquaza and pull something shiny that they can go and take with show to their friends, and they can, glee over, whatever you want, whatever adjective you want to use, that they can get excited over. I recently, so having started this, my business, which that's a whole separate story about why I did it, but I now look for more and more collections to purchase. So in my local area too. And friends of friends, family members, they all know what I do now. So they're like, oh, I have Pokemon cards. Do you want to take a look? Like, do you want to buy them? And I was over a friend's house, and this kid, like we were talking about what I do and everything, and this kid was like, oh, I have Pokemon cards. I want to get rid of them. Like, do you want to? I was like, all right, I'll take a look at what you got. This kid was so excited to show me his modern beat up reverse hollows, Champions Path Charizards. Like, he didn't care one bit about the price on TC or on Troll and Toad or TC or what I'm blanking.
TCG player.
Thank you.
eBay.
I was almost at TCA Gaming because I was talking to him today, but yeah, TCG player, eBay. He doesn't know anything about that. That is the way it has always been. I've been thinking about this topic ever since you told me what the topic was going to be, about the health of the current health. Is this the healthiest point in our hobby? There are a lot of things about today that I do get a nostalgic feeling for. It does bring back some feelings of yesteryear. I think that will be for me anyway, that will be further exacerbated when league and more competitive play opens back up, because a lot of this is an in-person interaction type of hobby. It always has been. But it makes me think, like, the market, the way it is today, is just, there are I would say unhealthy. It's funny. I would say some things are unhealthy. I do long for the years of, opening a binder and you're opening your binder and you have a Jolteon Gold Star. I need that card. Or you have a Mew Gold Star. I need that card. Well, what do you have? I have a Latias Gold Star. Oh, I'll trade you. That seems fair. 1 for 1, right? Not, well, let me look at this card and there's a white ding on there. So that's a PSA 8. Well, let me go over and look at recent comps on PSA's website. And well, you're $300 off on yours. I just can't do that trade. What the hell? Like, that's not fun. That's not what I remember. That's not the way it's supposed to be. Like, there's some health in that, because I get it. We're all collecting cards that, there's attrition rates and stuff doesn't survive, and every collectible asset like that, it all has an assigned value because the supply isn't as great as the demand. And I get all that. But like, that's not the way it used to be. None of that's the way it used to be. And I don't know if we'll ever get back to that, but some form of that to me would be a lot healthier for our hobby. Like if people just, and I think some of that will start to happen more when we get back into a lot more in-person stuff. I know I'll do it more. I used to keep so the reason I have such a large collection is, aside from playing and needing four copies of every card in case you want to make a deck with it, I used to buy a lot of product in stores. Everything of what I have, most everything of what I have either came from prize support from getting a box for winning a tournament, judge support for judging a tournament, you get a box, or going into Target and Walmart and just buying packs. I pick up 5 packs every time I went into Target when I was in like college, like early 20s, whatever. Pop into Target once a week, you get 5 packs, $25, or 6 packs, whatever. It's like $3.99 MSRP.
Yep.
That's what I would do. And so you do that every week, you get more and more cards. The pull rates were a lot easier back then. You acquire more cards. There's multiple reasons of why you would continue to do that, even if you had a complete set, was you would build up trade fodder. So you would have cards, extra copies of cards, so that you could go around when you met people in league, in person, in tournaments, whatever. And you could say, well, all right, well, I want that and that. What do you have to trade? Well, here's all my extras. Here's all the stuff that, you might be interested in. And a lot of that was based around what was playable. Like I'll never forget. I would go on eBay and purposely scalp clay dolls from Great Encounter, reverse foil clay dolls. They would sell for like $15 a pop back then.
Yeah,
Because
that's
everyone
crazy.
it was one of the best cards ever released for the hobby. Fire Red Leaf Green Pidgeot was one of the best cards ever for the hobby. It was
That,
computer search every turn.
yeah.
Like those are the cards like I would stack. Like nobody really wanted them. Like you could get them on eBay for like $2 or $3 or $4 a piece, but they held more value in person to players because people would rifle through your extras and they're like, oh, I need those for a play deck. Like, all right, well, here's 4 copies and give me your gold star. Like that's the sort of stuff like you could haggle more, but it was more off of the intrinsic value of the cards, either the people that they wanted them for the collection, they needed them, they liked them, or they had play value, not because of what they were worth online.
Yep.
And I don't know if we're ever going to get back to that, but for the first time, so there's that aspect of the health of the market. But
So real quick, I
yeah,
do want to just talk a little bit, because one of the things you mentioned, and I think it's super valuable and it's a great point when you talk about a healthy hobby, is, you say you do wish the in-person stuff would open back up in league play, but I would say you could make a little bit of an argument that, the social media generation, things like this YouTube live where me and you are talking over camera. There's a live chat going on right now. People are having conversations within there. A lot of these people in the chat, either know us personally or they know each other personally. So maybe it's not like the traditional in person, like you were describing, going and showing each other's, your binder and stuff like that. But I would say that there is a new sort of social interaction, which is still very healthy for this hobby,
Yeah. So I actually watched, this is gonna be sound like it's not related, but I'm gonna weave it back in. I watched one of my favorite podcasts ever was when Joe Rogan had on Elon Musk, and he was talking. The, did you cut out? Can you hear me?
The first or second
The
one?
first one, where he was
Okay.
talking about AI,
Yeah.
and yes, I don't know how old everyone is in this chat, but I'm not going to say what he was doing in that video. If you want to go watch the video, it's presently clear what he was doing, what they were doing
He
in
was
that video.
smoking weed. You could
They were
say it.
smoking weed. All right. So, but it's kind of funny when you actually listen to it. He talks about the rate in which we absorb information. Written text is the slowest form of communication. You could follow that up with verbal. Picture's worth 1,000 words for a reason. As information is processed faster and faster and faster, there's going to become a point when it's just AI, and that's when he gets into the chip implant, and it's not so much, it's just the rate at which you can process information will be instantaneous as opposed to this. But my point is that with social media, we're seeing it. We're seeing it. Back in the day, the only social media forums that we really had were bulletin boards. We had Pokegym, which was where everyone went. Everyone, that was the place.
And you were a mod there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Poke Beach was still around. Poke Beach was there. The boards on Poke Beach were like a good secondary. There were a couple other ones. Pokemon Zeo had a good board. There were a couple good boards. E4 was just coming out. Um, but Poke Beach was a great place because it was run by um Team Compendium, who was they still exist. Poke Beach is still up if anyone wants to go over. And there's
You mean Poke Gym, right?
sorry, Poke Gym, yeah.
Yeah.
And Mike's going to supposedly they're going to try and convert it into modern times and do something with it. I hope they do because those guys have direct line of access to Nintendo and the rules team, and they are the rules team, and they get insider information that a lot of people don't. But it was a very community driven place, very friendly, open place, but it was slow. It was slow. It's a bulletin board. And I think that for people like you and me, yes, we're hanging out live on YouTube. We're chatting. We got the chat. There's Discords. You can jump on Discords now. There's all sorts of different ways. Certain Discords have once a month Zoom calls. I think Zoom calls are a great way to do this. Like if you can jump on a 30-person Zoom call, that's a great way to interact. And yeah, you can do trades over the internet and everything. And it is better now to bring us all together. But I still think that there's a barrier of entry to that. And that's an age barrier of entry. A lot of kids aren't going to be able to do that. And I think a healthier hobby long term, we have to keep kids interested in this because they're the ones who are 15 years ago, they're the ones who are going to drive up prices for nostalgia. They're the ones who are going to want to come back and go, yo, those alt arts. I remember when I was at League and Timmy traded me his Rayquaza V alt art, which
Or the Sleepy Tyrant.
right, like yeah. What's your favorite alt art?
I think it's the Sleepy T. That's definitely
Good
up there
choice.
because it was one of the, truly one of the first alternative arts. When I consider alternative arts, I'm talking modern, right? So I just remember when Battle Styles was coming out, and I remember seeing that for the first time and thinking of just how drastically different it was opposed to anything I've ever really seen in the past because it told the story.
It's told a story.
All Pokemon cards tell a story, but that card really told the story. And I call it like, like Yogi Bear from the cartoon, like gonna steal a picnic basket. Like that's
because there's the Tepig card.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. And it gave me that kind of like feeling where I looked at that card instantly and I started to make up a story for that card. And that card now has a story in my head, thinking of Yogi Bear, thinking of being at a picnic, stealing a picnic basket. And I'm like, this is how art is supposed to be. You're supposed to, and it's not just art of cards, art in real life or whatever. You're supposed to look at art. Art's supposed to invoke an emotional response from you. And one of the best parts of art is when you could create the story and you could think of what the artist was doing at the time and all this stuff. And that one card summed up this whole hobby in just like that.
I'm smiling ear to ear because I had the exact same experience, but for the Empoleon. So to me, when I see that Empoleon, the first thing I think of, I hear in my mind's eye, I hear the waterfall in the background. And I can just, it gives me like a Karate Kid, just zen vibe to him just training. And
that
also
true Nirvana with
Nirvana,
the
like
thumbnail of this video.
Right. And ironically also pre-release weekend when I went and got my boosters, I picked up 3 pre-release kits. So I think I got like 20 boosters. I pulled it. Like that was what I pulled it on pre-release weekend. I remember sitting there staring at it. I was like, this card is freaking gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like in my opinion, if they did away with the rainbows and the golds and the full arts. See, I've always had a problem with the full arts after having got back into this hobby. The full arts to me, it's like, I like the idea, but for me, the art is just not there. And it's not like from a player's perspective, I freaking hate reading those cards. It's so annoying. So, and I wouldn't
Especially
mind,
if you were the judge, forget about it.
Dude, like it's annoying. It's really annoying. It reminds me of like when Legendary Collection came out. We all hated firework cards.
Yeah, the reverse hollows.
Oh my god, they're like, oh, it's a card that's gonna blind you. Great. Like no one can read the stupid thing. Like it's just no one liked them. But
it's crazy that you were playing during the time of Legendary Collection.
Wizards of the Coast League store in the mall. It was great.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, if they did away with a lot of the chase, the modern rarity factor, and simplified the sets, I think that this would get even better. I like the pull rate ratio of the alt arts. They give me a very late game gold star once every 3 box feel to them, and I
Mhm.
like that. Maybe one rarity level lower, but we need to get. There's a lot. I could go on a whole rant about how to fix modern. Like,
You gotta open a lot of modern to
but
pull
that's
the
good.
card. Yeah.
But that is a good thing because in order to keep value in our hobby and to keep desirability, modern is printed from, and I don't have statistics. I would imagine modern is printed hella way more than it used to be as
Oh
far as,
yeah, yeah. I mean, the
right.
numbers already are shown, and Pokemon's been releasing. We're in the billions of cards, and every year it's just drastically going up. Yeah.
So if that's the case, and everybody knows to keep your cards in penny sleeves now, you're not going to get the attrition rate. So you're not going to get the
The condition
the
rarity
condition
factor.
rarity, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to have to get the scarcity rarity factor,
Hmm.
and the only way to do that is to make the cards harder to pull. And I'm okay with that if they made the damn set smaller. So like I think Japan's model is perfect, and I wish to God we would just model Japan. And I'm hoping that with the purchase of Millennium Print Group, I'm really hoping they fix print quality issues. Fix print quality issues. And I don't know if I've talked to you about this. Here's some modern cards. It bugs my ass. The card
Oh
stock
yeah.
is
You
so
you
much
hold that against a late Wizard of the Coast e-reader card,
night and
forget
day.
about it. That e-reader card could cut that card in half.
Yes, and that's what bothers me about modern. They feel like knockoffs you get at the flea market.
Hmm.
But the art, like this Haxorus is a beautiful card. Like the art is knocked out of the park on half these cards, but they print them so stupidly cheap. The quality sucks. Like I have a Misty Seedra over here bending in half because the hollow's so thick on it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Oh yeah. And you could even tell like old packs and stuff because the hollows start to warp the pack
the
itself. And
pack.
like
Yeah.
when you're looking at blisters, looking to the
Yeah.
side to see if I mean, yeah, those it's just so different. Yeah.
Like I love a lot of what they're doing with modern, but I really and I understand. I'm sure it's cost. Like they're making money, they're printing money.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's someone in the boardroom is real. That's all they're really looking out for. Like we could come and we could do, me, you, and like everyone else that loves the hobby could do a hour-long PowerPoint presentation to the heads of, and they
Yeah.
wouldn't care. They wouldn't
Yeah.
care. I don't
Because
think they
they're
would.
looking at full art sheets and probably saying, okay, this full art sheet costs X amount of cents to make, opposed to
Exactly.
this non-hollow sheet that costs X amount of cents. That's what they're worried about.
Yep.
Like you got to talk about like textured cards too, and the feel of textured cards and the way they look. And you can tell though, textured cards have high quality.
They do. I do.
That is drastically different than say some
It's
flimsy
funny.
uncommon.
Getting
Yeah.
back into this, when I was looking at, I went over on Pokecollect and Bulbapedia and looking through all the sets I missed. A lot of the texture cards and a lot of the gold full arts, especially in the Sun and Moon era. Um, when I'm looking at them online, my first thought is that card looks like crap. But then you get them in your hands and it's a whole different story. A lot of those textured cards are beautiful, but they have to be experienced in person to really fully get it. Uh,
You do have to see
you
it in
do.
person. Yeah.
So I get it. They are beautiful, and I do like that. I wish they would keep that. I wish it trickled down. I don't like how much. See, here's the problem. They built in scarcity factor so that you have to open so much product that you're now stuck with all these crappy cards quality wise, and they're not worth, like, your bulk is not worth anything. Like it's not. Like I recently redid all my modern binders to the way that Wizards had the binders in early Nintendo with all the
Oh,
hollows in the front and stuff.
alphabetical.
Alphabetical hollows to the front,
Okay.
chases in the back, and that did something for me because I really like seeing, for multiple reasons, deck building, deck construction. It's really nice to see the hollow, because the hollows and the V's and all that, they're supposed to be the best cards in the set. So it's easy to, when you see them all together, you get, I process deck ideas differently when I see that as opposed to by type. Maybe it's because of I experienced 55 sets that way before, they changed it. But aside from that, like I was like, look, on whatnot. So I have ripped through probably 16 cases of Fusion Strike. Fusion Strike is a fantastic set. I think it gets shit on. It's my third favorite.
It does get
Third,
shit on. You're right. It's a underappreciated
it
set.
is
I
a
think it's just a matter of where it fell
I
within
agree.
Pokemon. It fell between. Think of the two sets it fell between:
I
Evolving
know.
Skies and Battle Styles. And that's a conversation we have right now: is what's the best set of modern?
You mean
And we say
celebrations?
Evolving Skies or yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Celebrations too. It just fell in a weird time
It
period.
did fall in a weird time. And it's funny, like I opened that for people. People love the set. Like when I'm opening it for them, um, I get people back that have completed the set and they're like, yo, I just want more. I just want more of it. Like they're great. And I'm only charged. So when I open or not, I charge five a pack, which is $1 over MSRP, basically, more or less. And there's chases involved. Like I'll do prizes if you hit one, if you hit the Gengar or the Mew alt arch, you get a big bounty prize, whatever. So it compensates, it offsets a little bit. But I get people that like they'll buy a whole box at five a pack, trying to get like almost like feel like a 1 and 2 shot at getting that card. But I've opened so much of that set. And I'm still experiencing like the first time in 16 cases, I've opened one Rainbow Mew.
That's
One,
crazy.
to the point where when I opened it, I forgot it was in the set. Like I was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
like this is ridiculous. I immediately went to eBay and bought five of them, like at whatever price I could find, because I know
I've
as
done I've done similar with other cards where I just wasn't able to pull and I said, screw it. I'm just going out and doing a little quick buyout of this card. And so I have it. Yeah.
um, but I remember like people forget there's a Feraligatr in that set. There's a Swampert in that set. There's two normal hollow foils. I see them all the time, and they are fantastic artworks. That Swampert to me reminds me of the Blastoise from Expedition. Like he's underwater, like it's great artwork, and it's
Well,
so
there's
underappreciated.
two. You got to remember there's the Feraligatr, which has that artwork, but the Blastoise. And when you talk about goods cards in that set, every time both those cards always come up in conversation.
Nice.
And
So it's not just me. Okay.
yeah, every time that card comes up because it's an intimidating card, especially, I mean, the Feraligatr, yes, and the Blastoise, they're intimidating. It was so different from Pokemon because there's two Blastoises in that set. You have, the other like more cartoonish CGI type Blastoises in Expedition, but
Yep.
then you have that one, which
Yep.
is that's an intimidating
It
card. Like
is. It's
he looks like a tank coming
yes.
at you. Like they could have put guns on him and it would have been like a war. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about, though.
It's a great and it like I when I sell singles, so whatnot has been fantastic for me to move singles. Um, it saves me from having to take the pictures on eBay. I get 2%. They charge 2% less than eBay does on fees, and it's I put together shows. Like I get regulars that they're like, do you have any Gengar cards? Like I'm looking for this Blastoise. Like, do you have this? Do you have that? And it's kind of cool because like every once in a while, like I start to tell my people, like, look, stop asking me for Blastoise. Tell me which set you want. Name me a set. So then
Yep.
I'll get up and I'll go pull a card if they want one. Like, oh, do you have any Mew, like the Hollow Mew from Expedition? I'm like, yeah, I got an extra. I'll throw it up. Sure. So like I do that, but
I've
then
been
like,
picking up those actually in reverse
oh,
hollows.
really?
They're pretty
Th-
cheap. Yeah.
They're sick. The
They're so
reverse,
expensive for the hollow, but the reverse hollow, I think it's undervalued right now. So
which always blows my mind because you're absolutely right. The reverse hollow set is so much harder to complete. Always was, especially Expedition, because they made a freaking reverse hollow. They made the hollow, and then they made the rare of the hollow, and then they
yeah.
made the reverse hollow of both of those. So every one of the hollows has four versions of it.
Yeah. Yep.
I remember opening. I must have opened 3 or 4 cases of Expedition trying to complete the set.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
there
those
was,
e-readers, when you had your normal like 1 through whatever, but then you had your H hollow. So like
yeah, yeah.
Skyridge is H1 through H32. So I think that's what.
Yes, yeah, they yes.
So Skyridge is 144 cards. So you have 1
Right, but
through
I
144. The non-hollow rares go 1 through 32. Then each one of those non-hollow rares has a reverse hollow. Then
but
it has the H1 through 32 in the hollow version.
yes, but that started in Aquapolis. Expedition doesn't have the H
Yes,
designation.
that's correct. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was like, one of the sets does not. That's right. They started to do that in in Aquapolis.
Aquapolis.
Yeah. Yeah. But the art, some of the artwork in modern is just fantastic. I just wish, I think we're getting better. I think the way it adds to like the topic, the health of this hobby. Um, I think we're in a way better spot than we were with maybe some of Sun and Moon was great. Even
No,
looking
I
back,
think we're in a better spot. And this is where I differ with people. Like early Sun and Moon was very lackluster. It took really till later Sun and Moon for sets to really become good.
yeah,
Your Lost Thunder and team ups and Unbroken Bonds and Unified Bonds and Cosmic Eclipse. Those later ones were way better. But you know, Sun and Moon base, big stinker set, Crimson Invasion stinker set, and it really took to Unified Mind or not Unified Minds. Yeah, wait, no, it took till Ultra Prism for those sets to kind of become good again.
hmm,
And even then, after Ultra Prism, the prices went up, and then we had that real late reprint. So Ultra Prism's a weird time. It was a weird time in this hobby for sure.
it's always so. I'd like your perspective on if that was how it was with XY, because that's how it is with Sword and Shield. The first few Sword and Shield sets were kind of duds. Um, and it took the alt arts to really re-inject a lot of enthusiasm around Sword and Shield. And then, the character rares are coming back and everything. But
Well, you're right. With Sword and Shield, you had, and this is a weird thing, is a lot of people say Sword and Shield is a really great set and stuff, but to me, it's not. And
to me,
I'm
it's
sure
not
you probably
either.
feel the same. Sword and Shield. I mean, this is that set was built around the Sword and Shield game. So Zacian, Zamazentos, and while maybe if you were playing the game and you were younger, I can see those being
Sure.
legendary Pokemon, and maybe people would feel about those the same way people think about, we think about legendary Pokemon, and we think about like an Entei or something like that. We have that sort of mindset to it. So, and I, and the reason I say Entei and the legendary dogs
Interesting.
is because I think of Zacian and Zentos being very similar, like dog like
Mhm.
gods. So, but yeah, Sword and Shield base was weak. Rebel Clash was weak. Darkness Ablaze, which is number 3, didn't really have much going for it. It had the Charizard, but it was still just a VMAX. It wasn't like a secret rare, rarity. It ended up being super abundant. But when you talk about health of the hobby, that's a perfect card to look at and say, well, how is that card performing with the 10,000 of them that are graded? And
True.
to see PSA 9 prices, and 10, well, maybe PSA 10 prices selling at $150 for that card, you can look at that card and say, holy crap, this hobby right now is still doing fantastic. Because when you think of the market cap of that card, when you add up the entire PSA population, add a dollar amount to it, and that card still sells for $150, you're like,
Yeah.
holy crap, this is a lot of money just in this one card out there.
True. If we're defining in that instance,
But
defining
yes, and I don't
yeah,
mean to say health is always dollar amounts, but I don't think you could it's a like this weird combination, right? Like you still need to have financial value associated with these cards to keep the market super healthy. Because if everybody was open booster boxes and your expected value was 0 or $5, nobody's going to want to. I mean, I shouldn't say nobody, a large majority of people, especially in this hobby, because this hobby isn't all players. I would say this hobby is definitely made up of more collectors and investor type mindsets than it is the player mindset. So it is definitely healthy to have your cards still have some sort of value to it. And I would always say that's true. I would love to hear your thoughts though on that.
yeah. It's an interesting, very you're digging at the core of something here. Um, and you have to ask yourself, everybody out there needs to ask yourself, because this is a serious question, and everybody as a collector needs to answer this for themselves. Which would you rather have? Be honest with yourselves out there as a collector. And you posing this has actually, that's why I'm stopping and pausing, because I'm actually turning it over in my own head too. Would you rather have cards have less value, but be able to acquire them easier for enjoyment factor, or have your collection have the cards be worth more, but not be able to acquire the cards you want. And it's because, and the reason I'm saying this is because when you take scenario A, you're taking the Diamond and Pearl Platinum era, late EX, Diamond and Pearl, that 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10 era. That you want to talk about cards being easy to acquire. People in the hobby, for the pure love of the hobby, collectors being collectors just, because they love the cards. That's that era. Cards were not worth a
people
lot.
weren't opening great encounters with the expectation to, to
No.
try the stonk out. No, yeah.
No, I opened a ton of great encounters because it had great cards to play in that set. It was a fantastic play set. So I
Exactly.
bought but that was a lot of how I made my decisions about which cards to purchase, like which sets I went in on and which sets I didn't. Was, oh shit, how playable is this set? Every time a set was released, me and all my friends, we combed over PokeBeach for translations to figure out, oh, that's, like, that hollow is going to be right. I can make a deck around that. I can make it like, that's cool. And art was a secondary, collecting was a secondary focus to playing. It just always was in that era. You had, because nothing was worth anything, because everything was easily accessible. Nothing was scarce. But I would argue I had more fun. Well, it's interesting because I also had a ton of fun when the game was first released and League was brand new and everything. Stuff was very valuable when the game was first released too. Base set first edition, I remember walking in at $22 a pack back then. And there was just as much an air of excitement when you walked in with your friends, when people pulled those first edition cards that were really valuable. They were valuable back then. Like, card shops sold singles.
I would say Charizard, even like in an unlimited form, was probably selling for around $100 in
Probably.
1999.
That's fair.
So
Yeah.
you could say that card bottomed out for a long timeline. In 2020, or sorry, in 2004, if somebody was like, "Hey, do you want to buy this unlimited Charizard?" Like,
Worthless.
what? Worthless, right? I mean,
Worthless.
so that card definitely went from really high to really low for what probably seemed like your entire time in the hobby before you came back. Like, that card,
Because everyone had it. Everyone had them. And
exactly,
no,
and
you couldn't do anything.
all unlimited hollows from base
All
set,
unlimited
everyone
hollows.
yeah.
And you couldn't do it. All you could do with them was have them sit in your binder. And everyone had one. So why would anyone else want another one? You couldn't do anything with it.
And there probably wasn't maybe you did know, the difference between first edition Shadowless and unlimited, but how many people really didn't care about that? Or
not many.
The way we're so hyper focused on first edition Shadowless now, it could have been a lot different then. So it is pretty wild to think about. But to answer your question, though, the question you had brought up is, would I rather have all the cards be worth way less and be able to acquire them, or have the cards be worth more money and be harder to acquire? I would personally lean with the second option, because one of the things that I actually get a lot of enjoyment out of for this hobby is that turning and burning mentality of, collecting, buying cards. I do go the way of grading. I know some people are very hit or miss about grading. I personally enjoy the grading to maximize dollar returns for, more near mint, PSA 9s, PSA 10 type condition cards, selling those cards into the market, freeing up capital in order to continue to grow my collection. Because, it's always been my mindset and always been my intention that the reason I'm selling is, yes, I do sell for a portion of that to be money and like financial benefit. But a huge part of that, and especially very recently being within the last, I would say just this year as a whole, 2022, I've definitely went from being a net seller back to a net buyer. And one of the biggest things I'm doing right now is adding to my collection and rebuilding my collection. And one of the only ways I could rebuild my collection is by turning, burning, and freeing up capital. Because in 2021, when I was selling cards, I can't say to everybody out there that money was just going in a bank account. And it was like, okay, selling this card for $100, it goes in this bank account, and we don't touch that $100 till 2022. It doesn't work like that.
If Pokemon
that money's gone.
If Pokemon went to zero, you'd be able to buy your collection back a lot easier.
And I thought about that too, but that's one of those ultimate crystal ball type things.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's such a good moral dilemma question.
Yeah.
I don't know. Listen, a lot of people, I feel, here's what I feel. I feel the spark again. I feel the excitement that everyone has, they've definitely, it's definitely reignited in me. And with that, would I love right now to be able to go out and buy 10 copies of Umbreon Gold Star, the original Pop Series 5 promo, just because I can? Yes, like I would, because, and I would rather be able, I would rather somebody say, all right, your cards, they're worthless, but you can get Pop Series 5 promo Umbreons for $10 a pop right now. I'll be like,
I'd
fantastic.
rather personally buy the packs for $10 and pull
Yeah.
that card myself. I mean, good luck.
Yo, it was so stupid. So I stopped running League at Pop Series 4. I still have some extra. I had a
That's Pop
stack of,
Series 2 right there on front,
yeah,
right?
I have 2 and 1 left. I had a stack this thick of 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. I don't anymore. I sold them all. But
I want to say those sell for like $29 a pack right now,
they
man. They're
do. They
pretty
do.
pricey.
I think I have a few left up for like 49 just because I'm not in any hurry to get rid of them because I sold through hundreds of them at that price and now it's like whatever. I only have a
Yeah.
few left. But I kicked myself because if I would have just kept running League through Series 5, I
Yeah.
would have had and they're like what, 800 a piece? Like 5, 600?
Yeah, I would say like 5 to 600 for Pop Series 5 pack, yeah.
Like I remember when we was looking up prices again, I remember like, oh, I'm looking up pop packs on eBay, and then I remember seeing pop 5 and what they were, and I was like, why the hell are these ones so much more? I looked into it. I
Yeah,
remember
unweighable.
frantically looking through my collection, like, Jesus, do I have any pop 5 packs? Like, I know I have all these other ones. Do I have any pop 5 packs? I don't have any pop 5 packs.
Yeah.
Um, but like, it's funny, like,
Even the Espeon too. I mean, it's worth it. You know,
oh
number because
yeah.
they're number 16, number 17, number 17 obviously being the Umbreon. But yeah.
And like I got one of each, and it was just like back in the day, it's like, oh, I have my set, I completed my set. That's all you need, right? Like no one wanted them. No one wanted them back then. It was just like, oh, those are cool. Wait, they're not hollow. Nobody wants those. Like, it's just funny. Like, I don't know. Those are a great example. I still want so a couple of my Grail cards are still the Japanese ones because I
Like
have,
the point promos. Yeah.
yeah, I have the Jolteon, the Vaporeon, and the it's not the Flareon. It's the Jolteon, the Vaporeon. Yeah, it is the Flareon. Sealed. I have those sealed. And I never, even back in the day, those were expensive cards relatively. Not as obviously not as much as they are now, but we're talking like $3,000 cards even back
Huh.
then. And for a poor college kid, like that was unattainable. Um, and I just remember thinking to myself, I'm gonna buy this cardboard and I'm like throwing money away. Like it's never gonna be worth anything. I'm the only one who wants this thing. None of my friends even know what these are. Like people in Pokemon still didn't know. A lot of people didn't know what those, like I was one of the only people going to regional level tournaments, one of the only people. I used to have to go to Worlds to find other Japanese trophy card, promo card, rare card collectors. Like no one, none of my other friends were cared about that stuff. No one cared about it because you couldn't play it. It didn't have an English translation copy. It wasn't legal. Like, and it was too, the prices on the cards were just ridiculous. Even back then, nobody thought, everyone's like, you're wasting your money. The amount of times I heard my parents tell me I'm wasting my money, like on these Pokemon cards, like, I, um, and I was frugal. I'm still frugal to this day. Like a lot of how, um, Scott Pratt talks about living, like it resonates with me because that's just what that's just me. Like that, I do the same exact thing. I don't buy stuff. Like I grew up really poor. I grew up really poor, and my grandmother was a depression child. So I would hear things like, use it up, wear it out, make do or do without. Well, like I didn't get new stuff just because it was broke. I'd fix it. Like we just didn't get new things all the time.
Yep.
So a lot of that is like like I sleep. I don't even have I have a mattress on a box spring. I have the same dresser that I had when I was a child, the same clothing dresser. Just there's nothing wrong with it. It was a great oak dresser. Still have it. Like I don't throw stuff out. I still like my fiance gets on me because I'll wear socks till they have holes in them, and she's like, just go buy socks. And I'm like, but there's nothing wrong with them. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that mentality carries in our hobby really well. Like if we're the type of people that can, like, I know you did this. You did this. I remember watching your live when you had your job, and you lived on in a like a bunk, right? Like
A man camp, yeah,
yeah, man camp.
in the oil field. Yep.
And you got to save all your money.
Yep.
And yeah, so it's very similar. If you can live like that in this day and age, a lot of people can't. A lot of people spend money on frivolous stuff that they don't need. They don't know how to live within their means. And if you can do that and you can eliminate your expenses, you can enjoy this hobby a lot more. You'll have a lot more discretionary funds in the long run. Um, so I really like it when Pratt talks about that, because I don't think a lot of people listen to that sort of stuff.
Yeah. When I broke down like paying back student loans and stuff, because I did it super fast. I was making a lot of money super fast, but I broke it down like after taxes, I was putting like 78 cents per dollar. And I
Wow.
did that after the fact. I was doing
Yeah,
78 cents per dollar I brought home was going back to paying off my loans. And I did it like
perfect.
super fast.
Pay down the
And
principal, get it taken care of. You don't owe any
yeah,
interest. Yep.
I burned through. I mean, I was in the oil field making, you know, pretty good money when I first started. So I burned through it. But again, I was living for free and then eating for free. Those were your two big expenses. And I was just working all the time. So,
It's awesome. That's so
but it was also that a massive amount of boredom too, which hit me, which is why I got back into Pokemon. And, I've talked about this in other lives and other channels. I kind of went through quarantine just before everybody else. But now this is one thing I want to talk about with the health of the hobby and kind of the playoff that. Now, one of the reasons everyone did sort of rediscover Pokemon recently, a lot of the newer people that came back in, was all the shutdowns that happened and people having a lot of free time. Now, do you see a lot of those people staying around here, or do you see a lot of those people exiting out of the hobby? Because not only maybe they still do love Pokemon, but because things are opening back up and they're not
so
stuck inside anymore, do you think that that will change anything?
I still see good health. So actually, I just watched a video, my drive home before we did this. Oh, who did it? It was it was a macroeconomic discussion, how it relates to our hobby. Pokemon Classics.
Oh,
Um,
Pokemon Classics, fantastic. He was on this
fantastic.
channel the other day.
I know, I watched it. It was great. Great guy,
He,
fantastic guy.
I said it during the live and I'll say it again. Like, he's one of the only people I've ever met in this entire hobby where I can't find one single person who would ever say anything bad about him.
That's
And
rare.
if anybody did, you talk about the Pokemon mob. If anybody ever say anything bad about him, they would just pile on.
Yeah, it's true.
They wouldn't let people get away with saying something bad about him. He's an awesome dude.
Watch his latest. It's only like 12 minutes. Like
I
all his.
did. I did.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah,
the
on
press.
talking about inflation, how it relates to Pokemon, and
Dude,
he brought up like all the stuff that I already think about on a daily basis, but he does it
seriously.
in such a great way.
And I like how, because I'll be honest, like 8 minutes in that video, I was like, this is depressing as shit.
Yeah,
But then he wrapped it up at the end. Like he put a nice positive spin on it. If you watch it through to the end, he puts a little air of hope into the end of it, which I really did actually appreciate. Um, but it
and he
ties in.
sums it up great too at the end. He's like, "Listen, I don't know." He's like, "Listen, these are the numbers,
It's
these are the
true.
facts, but I don't know, and no one knows."
It's true. So what was the question? Actually, I don't do this often. I actually lost the train of thought. What was the last question you just asked about?
So talking about how people rediscovered Pokemon because of the shutdowns, but now that
Right.
everything's opening back up, do you see those people who
I
rediscovered leaving again?
Some of them. I think that a lot. So I think, tying into his video, I think that we're in for an interesting time ahead of us with gas prices going to the way they are, because what I'm seeing on Whatnot is a lot of people would rather pay the extra dollar. I've had people tell me this. Like, I come to Whatnot because I don't have to go out and look for these cards. Like, I don't, you ship me a collection box that I want, and I don't have to go to Target hoping to find these collection boxes anymore. Because a lot of people in this hobby are in areas of the country where it's still, like, even where I'm at, and I'm in New Jersey, South Jersey, it's a pretty metropolitan area. Uh, for the last two times I was at Target over the last month, not Target, Walmart, because there's no limit on Walmart. There was actually product on the shelves for the first time. I could walk in. I picked up a couple ETBs. I picked up the Reshiram Charizard box, Picked up a
Yeah.
couple things.
I've
But
seen recently on the so I don't mean to interrupt you,
no,
but
you're
this is
fine.
something interesting before I lose this train of thought. Recently at my Walmart, you want to know what I've been seeing? I've been seeing Darkness Ablaze, Vivid Voltage, ETBs sitting on the shelves, but I'm
Interesting.
not seeing Brilliant Stars sitting on the
Oh
shelves.
no, I don't think you
So
will.
you
No.
you have these ETBs that went from $100+ to and it just shows how like everyone's like, oh, the Pokemon like modern hobby is so strong. It's like, yeah, strong my ass. It takes like a slight gust of wind to just kill that price from,
It's true.
100+ to $35. Like that's how fragile the modern market is when it comes to reprints. Like the slightest reprint just destroys price.
So I don't think we're ever going to get, and I don't want it to. I don't want scalping. I don't want Scalpamon back. I don't want Vivid Voltage to be extremely expensive because it's just not available. Like that to me is asinine. Um, so I think we are returning. So pulling it all back, I would agree that
Sure.
we are headed to a great place in the hobby. It's a good
I agree.
mix. In my opinion, it's a good mix of both. We have a good health on vintage. I don't think that's going anywhere. We are getting back to modern product being available for kids, adults, all collectors, being able to pick up what you want when you want it. But the chase is there for certain cards to keep interest in the sets. The sets are more interesting these days. I would agree with that. Um, and I still think that there's also the way the macroeconomic situation is. There is a there is, and I don't think it's going anywhere. Stuff like whatnot, stuff like people that want to make Pokemon into a business still can do that and still turn a nice profit. Maybe not, and it should never be the crazy ass profit that it was during lockdown in the Logan
They'll
Paul
have
era.
to do more work though. They'll have to put the legwork in if
Oh
they want to
yeah,
do that though. It's
yeah,
not
for
going to be like
sure.
last time where it's
Oh
just like,
no.
oh, give me as much product as I could get from my distributor and I will sell it tomorrow, like as
Right,
fast as I can
exactly.
list it.
Interestingly, I've had Astral Radiance up during the lockdown. If I got allocation from my distributor and I made a video saying, "Oh, I have," it would sell out in 10 minutes.
Yep.
I've had it under MSRP on my website. I haven't sold a single booster box. If that doesn't speak to the current state, and I don't do it that much, but I'll every once in a while I'll drop it like, oh hey guys, by the way, I have Astral Radiance if anybody wants it. And like nobody goes and gets it. I think you
So
cut.
real quick for everybody out there, we currently are sitting at 63 viewers.
Cool.
Listen, if you are not subscribed to Joe, the link to his YouTube page and the link to his Instagram are both in the description of this video right now. Listen, just hit the pause button of this video, go over, click on that link, give him a subscribe. I promise you guys, you're going to thank me. And I mean this. You will thank me for subscribing to his channel. And I think you could go back either his most recent video, the one right before. It's just a rant video of him driving in the car. And when I tell you this is Pokemon YouTube Gold, is that rant video. So please, if you are not subscribed, and I would say that a lot of people watching this video are subscribed, but if you're not, you guys are missing out. And if you like
Thanks.
content like this that you're watching right now, give them a subscribe, whether you're watching this live or you're listening to this after the fact. The link is in the description. Please hit the pause button, click the link, and give this man a subscribe. We need to get him to 1,000 subscribers tomorrow. All right.
Thanks, PK.
Sorry about
No,
that.
that's awesome. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, 1,000 would be like if I get to 1,000, I don't really care if I go anymore. It's just such a nice round number. Like I
So
just I,
it is. And
it's just a
it's
nice
it's
round.
funny looking at your channel too, because you have videos that go 9 years ago where you're opening up. I forget the box. It's like the diamond and pearl. It's like
Yeah,
the
it was a YouTube
huge mega.
10.
No, it was a big mega box that had like almost every set in there. I forget which one.
Oh, I don't
I
know.
don't even know what those
I
are
don't even
called.
know what video. I don't even know my own
Yeah, it was like one
videos.
of your very early
That's
ones.
funny. I
But
don't
it's
know.
wild that your videos, have time 9 years worth of videos. I know
Yeah.
there's a huge gap in between, but still, just the fact that your channel's been around for
Yeah,
that
it's
long.
funny. I was probably one of the first people to ever open packs on YouTube. I remember when I was uploading those videos, like if you search pack opening on YouTube, there was only like two or three other people that were doing it. Like it was rare.
Yeah, not 9 years ago in the YouTube sphere is a long
It's a
time,
long
man.
time.
Like it probably
And
took you a day just to upload that.
I had a little Sony CyberShot camera and with a little memory card. Yep, I would record it on my side. I didn't even have a tripod. I would set it on the desk and do it in front of there. And I had to upload. I think I had to upload them in 2 parts. You couldn't upload the whole video together, so you had to splice it. YouTube had a limit on time that you could upload, so that's why like some of them are like part 1, part 2, part 3. You could only upload like 6 minute clips at a time. Um, yeah, it was interesting back then. And I remember feeling so stupid while I was recording these. I'm like, no one's like, I felt like such like, all right. I'm 22 years, 23 years old. I'm recording a video of me opening Pokemon cards. And just
You were
saying,
ahead of the curve, man. You just didn't know it. You didn't
dude,
know it.
then it's hilarious too, because like I remember when I stopped doing it, I would get comments. Like I went back like years later, and I never read the comments. I didn't know how to YouTube, but I went back and I read them, and I'm like, there's like people like, when you doing more? I need more of this, more videos, more. Like, when are you releasing more? Now, mind you, these were like 5-year-old comments at that time, but at the time I read them, they were 5 years old.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking to myself, like, I did not know anybody actually cared enough about this stuff to actually want more of it. Like, ah, it's weird.
I mean, with your potato camera, you still had 10,000 views on these videos. It's crazy to think
Crazy.
about.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. That's fun. It's fun time.
but to bring it back to the health of the hobby.
Yeah, I'm very optimistic for where we're going. I I don't think we're ever gonna make everybody happy, but I'm very so even let's talk about PSA cards. So what do I have left? I got back first edition base. I got back an entire set in eights recently. I got back all the hollows in eights. Um,
Got even like the Charizard,
yeah.
and you
Um,
that hit an 8 for you.
huh?
The Charizard hit an 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And the only ones I have left, well, I had a couple doubles, so I have like a couple in sevens. And then I had a couple doubles in eights. But the only ones I have left, I have a Poliwrath, I have a Ninetales. There's a point to this. I'm not just bragging. There's a Raichu, and that's it. So 3 hollows left. I listed all of them on eBay 20% higher than 20%, about 20% higher than recent solds, but still lowest available. And they all sold within like a month and a half. Like
That's a healthy market right there.
that's a pretty healthy market. So I think I don't have anyone's really tracking prices of eights out there, but they all got new record sales. Like they all got a bump from the last sale. So I mean, except for maybe, I don't know, no one wants Ninetales, but or Poliwrath. Um,
Poliwrath.
nobody wants no love for Poliwrath.
Z&G watching this, he's probably,
That's true.
yeah.
It's CG's
Everyone
favorite.
hates
Yeah.
Poliwrath.
Yeah. So like that to me is healthy. I have a video coming soon. It's taking me forever going back to the I don't have any time type of thing. I recently moved. I'm still in the process. I have about 400 left to go through. 2100 CGC slabs through PWCC. I sent them all. They actually gave me free shipping. I worked with a rep. I sent them 2100 slabs was like 14 FedEx boxes. I had to go to the FedEx store. 14 giant return boxes, like 24 by 48 by 48 size boxes of return, like boxes in boxes. I
Yeah.
sent them
And you
all
just
my.
shipped them, I'm guessing, right in the CDC box that
Yep.
they gave it. Yeah,
So
just
what I
I do the
did,
same thing.
yep, what I did was so CGC. Here we go. CGC dumped all my returns on me at the same time.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah,
Fuck
and
them, man.
fuck them
Any
indeed.
CDC representatives watching this, fuck you.
I agree. I agree. Um, for so many reasons. But so what I did was I I am very open about talking about for everybody's benefit about mistakes that I've made and misplays. And one of the misplays I did was just blindly sending everything under the freaking sun in for grading. Even at the 1250 a card level for CGC, I got back all those cards.
1250 is a lot though, in my opinion, for CGC.
It is. I made a miscalculation. I did math on 2,500 cards, and I was making predictions, and I wasn't that far off, but what I should have pulled out the cards that I knew were going to get less than a 6, and I sent them anyway. And I shouldn't have. But what I did do was I pulled out everything that was less than a 7. I only sent 7 and above to PWCC because I would rather get $5 for it on eBay and get something
Then zero.
than 0 and have them keep my card. So the cards that I did run through, I have statistics on. We're talking not much modern, mostly reverse hollows from the Diamond and Pearl EX era reverse hollows, some rares, some Wizards of the Coast hollows, Japanese hollows, Japanese promos, early Wizards promos, mostly that sort of stuff. I'm still compiling it all into a spreadsheet, but I averaged approximately $23 a card across those auctions when you averaged them all together so far. Some were high, some were low. The average is 23 a card so far. Now, mind you, I pulled the trigger on all these a year ago. Now, when I did that, I was anticipating making more like 28 or 29 a card on average. That was the target I wanted. And I still think that if PWCC stayed on eBay, I would have actually gotten that, because I think a lot of the reason they went a lot lower was it's a limited market on PWCC the way it is now.
Hands down. I mean, the game changed once they got kicked off eBay. It's a shame because when somebody writes the book of Pokemon and they write the book of Pokemon Invest and they write the book of 2020, 2021, the PWCC eBay collab, when that was happening, was one of the greatest things that has ever happened for the seller in the history of this hobby.
Yes.
Now, for the buyer, yes and no. Yes, sometimes that you would have 10, 20 cards of the same card at a PWCC auction, and you just could potentially be the guy who got super lucky. But for the seller, so I've already told this story on my first ever PWCC submission. I sent cards that I thought we were going to sell, but like weren't going to be crazy. And those cards were selling higher than some of the buy it now listings currently on eBay, meaning the same exact card in the same exact grade was buy it now for cheaper. And my auctions that I said, and then once that happened, that first submission, it was the floodgates open, and it was like, this is it, man.
Yeah,
we're doing this. And
I'll never forget where I was the day when the announcement came. I was over my fiance's. We were getting ready to go to the beach. It was like August was the submission that got canned.
Yep. And I remember I had 82 cards in that submission.
Yeah, I had some.
They just were frozen at the 82.
Yeah, exactly. Same. And I just remember sitting at my kitchen. I was sitting at our kitchen table, just thinking to myself, "Fuck! Like, what am I gonna do? Like, shit! There goes my whole business plan."
Yep.
Damn it! Like, what's gonna happen now? Because
I let him ride to the first auction. I bought your Sky Ridge cards.
You did, yes, you did. For me, it was a beautiful thing as a seller, because my whole plan was for my collection was grade these cards, keep what I want, give them to PWCC so I don't have to list the shit. You handle it. Grade the next cards. You handle it. I don't have time to list all these cards. And it was just beautiful that I could my head, I was like, okay, I'll ship them 500 cards and they can list them on eBay. And like, I'm really excited, nervous at the same time for what it's going to be with the whole eBay vault and how that's going to turn out.
I'm praying, and this is just speculation, but when eBay first opens their vault, I think eventually it's going to be like a PWCC where your card either has to have a certain amount of value or there's going to be a storage fee attached to it. But I'm hoping and praying when eBay opens up their vault, they said free lifetime storage for the first month or two. And if that happens, I won't own any more graded cards. Everything I have will go to the eBay vault if it's free lifetime storage. And I would just dump.
I wonder how many people.
I would save a couple. Maybe my Raichu set, and that would be about the extent of that.
Yeah, I would probably do the same thing. Okay, it'll be like PWCC, ship me all my cards back. They're
Oh, I
going
wouldn't even ship them to me. I just
just
ship them
ship them
right to
right to
the
eBay.
ship them right to eBay. I wouldn't want
That's
to pay
hilarious.
shipping twice.
That's true. That's true. That's funny. Dude, I wonder how many requests they're gonna get. I wa- Shit. How many requests they're gonna get through, and their boardroom's just gonna be like, shit, we're
Yeah,
shipping
yeah,
all this to eBay.
yeah.
Oh
It's
my
just,
God.
but
I do you think that they're gonna do monthly auctions? Do you think that they're gonna integrate an auction platform to it? That's what I'm hoping they do.
no, because that's already what they are in a way, like you already have the flexibility to just list whenever you want. So I don't, maybe though, I don't see it. So you're saying like by creating their own auction, people would have more eyes on that. Say, oh, okay, this is the Pokemon Sunday night auction. This is when they end. This is when
Yeah,
I need to really look. So it will bring more eyes to it that way, opposed to you just listing a random auction. And because that's a big problem with eBay auctions is eBay auctions will sell if the right buyers are buying on
exactly.
that day.
That was
Where
one of the things that PWCC had going for it was an event. Everyone
oh
watched it.
people did live discussions,
Yeah.
conversation. Yeah, it was crazy.
And because I do auction stuff through eBay now, and you don't it's greatly depends. Like it's either that or I'm really hoping that somebody else picks up the reins. We need to get another if somebody could step in and fill those shoes and get an event, a Pokemon auction event, a once a month event that was similar, I think that would do a lot for the price of this hobby. I
Yeah, but
really do.
PWCC is already kind of doing that. I think it's your biggest barrier of entry is just getting traction to those first couple auctions. It'd just be so hard to. People are pretty set in their ways, man. Like you'll have cards sell for way more on eBay than you do PWCC, but then at the same time, you have cards sell way
Yeah,
more on PWCC than you do on eBay. Like there's this there's a weird group of people out there, man. I don't
I
know. People are
know.
stuck in their ways.
True.
And even like golden and stuff like that. Golden has some really good values there.
They
People
do.
don't even like golden because it's just that one extra step. It's like got to create an account. I have to, prove to
Verify.
golden that I actually have money. And like people are like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm just never going to buy a card on golden auction. I'm only going to buy cards on eBay. And it's like, well, what if you could get the card cheaper on golden? People would just straight up say, I don't care. I don't
Yeah.
want, I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I've personally never I have a heritage account. I don't have a golden account. I'm thinking of so I'm in the market to buy my first vintage booster box to do a break on whatnot. I'm at
what are you
I wanted to
thinking? What
huh?
set? Like what set
Um
timeline? We
well,
talking?
I know what I'd love to do, but I don't know if I have the money for it. I'd love to do Team Rocket Returns.
I knew you were gonna say that, but that's not a you can't open that box.
I
I
know.
mean, there's just well, yeah, you just
If
can't.
not that, I think I would go for first edition Gym Challenge. I love Gym Challenge as a set. I love
Mhm.
the alternate it's Ken Sugimori art. The Bandai art from the Card S set, I believe.
Which card?
The Charizard and the Erica's Venusaur. The
Yep.
Blaine's Charizard and the Erica's Venusaur. That's the same artwork that's on the is it the Card S cards? I think it's no,
I'm not 100% on that.
it's the Card S cards, I believe. Hang on.
Well, I mean the Blaine's Charizard and Erica Venusaur have their own cards.
Right, but the artwork is reused artwork.
Okay.
It's not the Card S set. It's reused artwork. I think it's the Top Sun artwork. Is it the Top Sun artwork? It might be the Top Sun artwork. I don't have a Top Sun set handy. I think it's the Top Sun artwork. Um, but they're off centered, like they're just slightly off centered on the cards. Um, but I've always loved Gym Challenge. I like Gym Challenge better than Gym Heroes. I know a lot of people do. I ran that Blaine's Charizard has a special place for me. Me and my best friend, when we were going to league, we both loved fire decks, and he was kind of like the only other like really good player, and we both had variants of Typhlosion decks.
Oh, nice.
And I ran Typhlosion with Blaine's Charizard because it had a variable first attack for 1 energy. You could increase the damage, and it worked very well together.
Which Typhlosion was it?
The recharge one,
Okay.
T17.
T17, yeah.
We always called it the better Typhlosion. The other one sucked. But yeah, so like we would when we would battle each other, we were the two gym leaders. Everyone would stop and come watch our games, like when we played, and we would have basically mirror matches with his fire deck was slightly different than my fire deck, but it definitely had that Blaine's Charizard. So that's why I really like that card. I really like Gym Challenge in general. So if I had to break one, if I had to go for one and at a reasonable price, I want to get first edition just to make it a little extra special. But yeah, I'd go for that probably.
You ever think about going like I guess it's the cheaper route. You're guaranteed a hit. And when PokeRev came on the channel and he talked about doing box breaks, that was one of the things he talked about is buying Japanese box, because you could buy the Gym 2 box, probably get it for cheaper, get a lot more packs in it. I don't know profit wise what's more profitable.
I don't either.
But at least you're guaranteeing everybody a hit in a way.
And you get the band cards, which everybody loves.
Get the band cards, yeah. You got the Koga's Ninja Trick is in there and yeah.
So yeah, that's a good point. I actually didn't think about that. And I would get just as much enjoyment breaking that, because growing up, I opened Japanese. My card shop always had it, but I didn't get as much of it. The packs always cost more for some reason. I guess import fees, they always cost more to their English equivalents. So it was rare for me to pick it up. I remember every time I did buy them, I even saved the wrappers. I saved the wrappers to this day, the freaking wrappers. They just felt more special to me. So I've never purchased an original box, a full sealed Japanese, the one where they had the 3 rows side by side. I've never bought in so that I would actually love to do that. It would be special for me. I've never opened a sealed box of Japanese until like Diamond and Pearl era. So yeah, that would actually good. Thanks. That's a great idea.
And I mean, this way you're just guaranteeing people hits too. I think that's the big thing. And I don't know if you watched the live I had with Ivy. She's one of the TikToker. At the end of that, she opened up a Gym 2 pack and she pulled the Koga's Ninja Trick and, for the trainer, but then she pulled the Erica's Venusaur at the end.
Oh, so cool.
It it was pretty awesome.
I watched about half of it. I think with our little group, what are we, y'all make like 25 hours of content a week now. Like
there's a lot of content. Like
it's crazy.
If you miss a day's worth of content, like through this group of, Poke tubers or whatever you want to call us, it's like, oh crap, I don't have enough hours in the day to catch up.
It's true. I'm like, I consume this stuff while I'm driving now. Like I throw it on like a podcast.
Yeah.
And my fiance is like, Jesus Christ, you're gonna crash. I'm like, well, I don't actually watch them. I know who they are. I just listen to them. Like,
yeah, I only need to look at that stupid photo in PK's background so many times. Like,
true.
He has the most boring background ever, guys. But, yeah, but to kind of go back to, and I called it, the title of this video is Pokemon in a State of Nirvana. And yeah, it had a lot to do with the thumbnail, but I think in order for Pokemon to grow, it needs to grow organically. And when you have organic growth, when the big booms come and everything spikes up, that organic group, the organic area of the hobby, the people that are really entrenched by that point, those are always the people that they're the ones that do the best.
Oh yeah.
Like the people that come in and they try to be the stonkers, and I'm now a sealed collector and I didn't collect Pokemon last year, but now I'm a sealed collector and I own all this stuff and blah, like that sort of mindset that people have. Those people are just always going to have a much tougher time because their back is kind of going to be against the wall and they're already going to be one step behind everybody else who have already like built positions. And I always talk about the thing about the boom that I was very unprepared for it. And why I say I was unprepared for the boom is if I knew what was going to happen, I would have, refinanced my house and sent every single card I owned to PSA a year or two before and got hit with tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of grading fees to have everything graded.
Ready to go.
I mean, the cards that I did have graded, I was in a great position for those, but it didn't even scratch the surface because at that, during the boom of booms, you could sell anything. Like you could just anything that was in a slab could sell.
Oh
So
yeah.
no matter, and I always say this, so no matter how prepared maybe I could have told myself I was, like in reality, I wasn't prepared for what the market was going to do. But I think you're going to have a lot of like new core group of people come out of this hype. And that core group is going to be a couple things. One, I think they're going to be way more knowledgeable than any sort of collectors we've seen in the past. Because if they're watching videos like this, if they're watching videos like yours, if they're watching, Jake's and they're in Jake's Discord and they're watching all these like super hyper focused, like who knows how long we've been talking for now? We've been talking for over an hour.
Yeah.
Trust me, the people that are still watching this video at this point are hyper focused in this hobby and probably have greater knowledge than 95% of this hobby because we think about this hobby, how vast it is. Trust me, there's not people that are this hyper focused that are really diving this deep, but it's going to be through that core group that this hobby is going to like really grow organically. And I think that that is going to be like amazing for Pokemon going forwards.
I agree. Yeah, I think the people that are here because they want to be, you know. Um, I think a lot of that sealed that those people have. I'm already seeing it because I'm in all the Facebook groups for selling and buying and collecting, and every day there's tons of people just offloading sealed collections, and the people that are scooping it up, I see the same repeat people scooping it up, but they're people that I've noticed that they've been in the hobby for a long time. Like they're people, they're collectors, and they want it. And I think that's healthy. I don't a lot of the organic growth comes from the franchise. Um like here, let me ask you a question. How excited are you for Scarlet and Violet?
I'm always excited about new expansions. I'm not a huge fan of like the new starter Pokemon, but I've also said that every time. So I wasn't a fan of, Score Bunny,
I wasn't
Sobble,
either.
like Score Bunny, like kind of wore off on me. Sobble wore off on me, So uh I didn't really like the evolutions either. Like Rillaboom, like
I don't
being a
either.
giant like ape monkey. I was like, I don't know if this does it for me. Like, but then I don't know. Now I kind of do like
I like
Grokey as the
Riboom.
starter. So
Grookey's cute. Yeah.
yeah, and but like that grew on me. So I kind of get the same feeling about this new expansion. And I think a little bit of it is always like you're always a little hesitant to change, but change in this hobby is so important.
It'll be interesting. So the reason I bring it up is it'll be interesting because the organic growth, a lot of it comes from the movies, the anime, and the
Yes.
video games. This is the first new generation of games since the boom.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how, like, it has a very Neo feel to me. It has a very Neo Genesis,
How
Gen
so?
2, because the boom feels almost like a rebirth, almost like a
Okay.
reinvigorance. It
I
has a
got where you're going. Yeah.
So this is the next generation. I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait to see what the Pokemon look like. Like now the only thing, and I need to find time to do it. I need to find time to dedicate to do it. I need to play the games through. A lot of my connection to this hobby that lasted deep, deep, deep into the card game came from playing through the games, the actual games. You develop a connection with the Pokemon, and I think this is how all kids and all them. I think this is how it's intended to work. Honestly,
Yeah. I mean,
the
that's how I got my real initial start was just through Pokemon Blue, man.
Yeah, same. And I think anyone out there that wants to feel a deeper connection to the hobby that's long lasting, like if you really want to enjoy the next generation of Pokemon and enjoy the cards more, play the games. Like, and
Well, I
I
had the
intend
I
to.
had the strategy guide
Yes, the
for
Prima
for
strategy
yeah,
guides.
the printed it was the red one. It had Charizard on the
Yep,
front, and I remember going there, and in the back was like a checklist. I remember
yep.
checklisting like, and because you got to keep in mind back then the Game Boy, even the Game Boy Colors, like when you would go into a cave, like Yeah, you might have had flash, but you couldn't see anything. You were going through
No.
blind. You needed to look at your map to know exactly where
Yeah.
you were in the cave.
It's true. How much time and effort we pumped into that. Like it developed
Hours, days, who
it,
knows?
but it ingrained in our psyches. Like it imprinted upon us. It imprinted upon us. And
Mhm.
I'm like I'm chasing that again. I'm chasing that, and that's why I remember when Gold and Silver, and there was so much talk about Neo Genesis when we were finally going to get it, and Japan had it first, and it's oh my God, it's the next generation of Pokemon, and this is so awesome. Like we get cards for them, and we get to make new decks, and like it was like like all right, it's not Charizard, but Typhlosion's cool looking, and it was like like this is all like for alligator meganium and like I like
And
Lugia.
I'm attached to those because I played Pokemon Gold too. So that was the
Same.
last game I really played as a kid. So
I played Emerald, I played Ruby Sapphire, I played those pretty heavily.
I played Emerald and Sapphire on an emulator on my phone. Like
Oh, that's
I would
cool.
say about 8 years ago, I played
Okay.
that.
And then I had Crystal. I definitely, so I did not play Black and White. I did not play XY. I did not play Sun Moon. I played some of Sword and Shield recently. I stopped about halfway through. Um, but I don't know. Like I really want to I want experience. I want to recapture that again. I'm very optimistic. I should say I'm very optimistic for Scarlet and Violet. Um, if they don't screw up the designs of a lot of the Pokemon, I think that they have an opportunity here to carry on the hype train and to push into a new generation with all they have an opportunity to catch some of the boom with oh my God, here's a whole new generation of Pokemon. If they market it right and get it out there, maybe do a really big movie release or something, I think that they can capture some of last year, the year before's enthusiasm for Pokemon and make another push at it.
Yeah.
Um,
And so I do want to ask you because I figure we'll go. Are you good for going for like 15 more minutes?
yeah, that's cool.
Okay. I do want to ask you, and this has been a hot button topic lately, and I think a lot of people watching this is going to want to know because when we talk about the health of the Pokemon hobby, you got to talk about the investability or the actual investability or the lack of investability, however you want to do it. But when you look at Pokemon, you look at modern Pokemon. Forget vintage for a second, because now that you've opened up a lot of modern Pokemon through whatnot, and you're experiencing almost on a daily to weekly basis, like the current Pokemon investor, people buying packs to enjoy the cards, open the cards, invest in the cards, whatever. Do you see modern Pokemon as being investable, or
Hmm.
do you see modern Pokemon as, or just, I'll just leave it as that question. Do you see it as investable or not? Where do you see the trajectory of modern Pokemon from an investability aspect and nothing else?
Do I think it's investable? Yes. Do I think it's the best investment you could possibly make with your money? No. It's not. I see modern at current, let's say alt art on sets, battle styles on so far. Anything with an alt art. Um, I think alt arts are key. I think that they're key. Everyone likes to I've watched so much of Jake talk about this. His latest video with what's her name was Iva was fantastic, or Ava, I think she said Ava is how you pronounce it. I love her, by the way. I love her. Her channel, the way she goes into her analytical spreadsheet analysis of stuff is just fantastic. Fantastic. Kudos to her. Um, but it's so often, you know, how do you predict which sets are going to be good sets, and how do you know it ain't rocket science. It ain't rocket science.
No, it's not.
Does it have Gen 1 or Gen 2 or Gen 3 Pokemon in it? It's probably a bangers like Lugias. You got Lugias? Do you got Eevees? Do you have Blastoise and Charizard on your? This shit ain't rocket science. It's going to be a good set. Like, do you have a new form of rarity scheme to your set? Oh, on top of popular Pokemon, you're going to have a good set. Like, so with that being said, like, there's a lot of modern sets that just hit. They're good sets. They're good sets. And even the bad sets right now are all up. And I know what everyone's going to say. Well, everything's up, and they weren't up 5 years ago. They weren't up 6 years, but they are up. And I don't think they're going back. I don't think that I think the information dissemination of how much and the awareness of our hobby is at a point where and even if they retrace, they ain't retracing much. So if you're purchasing Pokemon with the first foremost thought of this could if this product does not gain me any more money but doesn't lose me any money, I'll be happy. Then you're in a right mindset. If it makes you money, great. If it doesn't, it just or if you're still enjoying the product, then that's where you should be. That's honestly where you should be. Now, with that being said, do I think that it will for the majority of it? Do I think it will go up? Yes, I do. Do I think it'll match the stock market? I don't know. Is you going to get 10% a year? I don't know. But 5 years from now, is Sword and Shield alt arts boxes going to be more than they are now? Yeah, they are. Could they be double in price? Some of them, sure. Could you double your money in 5 years? Maybe. Fusion Strike at 80 a box is pretty freaking low. I know that.
Yeah, I
Evolving
think
Skies at 160, 170. If it doesn't get a reprint, could 250 a box be reasonable? For 300 a box be reasonable 5 years from now? Yeah, it's a good set. There's a Rayquaza, there's a Dragonite, alt art, which nobody even talks about. You have all the evolution alt arts, full arts. It's a banger of a set.
no, yeah, no,
Like
no one.
I
I
get
don't think anybody's arguing that. Yeah,
like I think brilliant. I think brilliant and evolving will go the way Cosmic is right now. Cosmic's an expensive box, and it's not that old.
no,
I
I
mean,
that was one of the few sets I was talking about Cosmic Eclipse, like screaming it from the mountaintops. If you ever go back and watch my early videos, it's literally just me saying in every
yeah,
video, Cosmic Eclipse, Cosmic Eclipse. But yeah, I think I think the big thing about modern and opportunity cost. I think that's what it boils down to. It's going to be a lot of opportunity cost because I think for a lot of modern is so fragile when it comes to reprints. And we've already seen this. We've already talked about it in this video. Look at Vivid Voltage ETBs and Darkness Ablaze ETBs. Those are $35 ETBs right now.
mm-hmm.
That is fragile price points where you could just crash and burn from whatever $100+ ETB down to $30 to $40.
So looking at Vivid, I want to look because I don't know the chases off the top of my head. I'm about to look. Vivid Voltage chases. Okay. Why? So here, if you want my opinion about why Vivid Voltage and Darkness Ablaze ETBs, even though we got a reprint, are sitting on shelves, they're shit sets. I'm looking at the chases in Vivid Voltage. You have a Galarian Obstagoon.
Yeah, I trust me. I know I've opened enough. I mean, one of the things that kept Vivid Voltage up at the very beginning was the Amazing Rares, that introduction of the news
Sure,
of the American, and people really went hard on Amazing Rares when they first came out. I'm
sure,
pretty sure
yeah,
I see old card shop right now in the
I know,
chat. He's famous for saying he
I
thought the
know,
Jirachi Amazing Rare was hard to pull, and he like stonked out on that thing for like $10 or $15 a card, and that's like
yep,
$1 card now.
I
But
know,
I think where it's going to come for modern, it's going to be a lot of opportunity costs because the question will be in the future, and we don't know this. No one has a crystal ball. It will be how long does this stuff flatline for? And for flatline for modern product, it doesn't always have to be in print. It just needs to be available at distribution. And that is a big caveat a lot of people don't
sure.
understand. There's
I,
a difference between stuff that is actively being printed and stuff that is available at distributor.
oh
Anything
yeah,
that, or more importantly, stuff that is available on Pokemon Center. And this is the thing. If Pokemon Center, let's just say for Evolving Skies, let's say we get a massive, just fucking Pokemon opens up the floodgates and they're said, you know what? You guys want an Evolving Skies? Here's Evolving Skies. And let's just say that PokemonCenter.com, you can buy Evolving Skies for 144, whatever that quote unquote MSRP, which I hate that, but let's just call it one MSRP 144. If that is available on Pokemon Center for now for the next 5 years, that price will never increase higher than that because you could always go to the Pokemon Center and buy it for 144. Now, can Pokemon actually do that? That's the question. Can they print enough
Well,
to
they won't. They won't.
exactly?
They
But there's
they
the possibility, and I don't think we're there yet. But with them, like acquiring Millennium
yeah.
Print Group and stuff now, there will be a lag time because Millennium Print Group still probably is contract like through contracts and obligations still need to print all these other sets and give printer allocation. So it's not like Pokemon could just go in
Well,
tomorrow.
they've publicly said that they're not going to either. They're gonna yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
But I think Pokemon will be able to then expand off of their current business. That means adding printers, probably having their own Pokemon building, like their own factory, like part of their super center, whatever you want to call it. And I think Pokemon, the future sets will potentially have that where Pokemon could just put the gas, you know, the now I think that's the danger of modern. Now, do I think that's what's going to happen? To be truthful, I don't think that's what's going to happen, but I think it's important to at least discuss what the dangers can be because the dangers for modern is PokemonCenter.com, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it
The most
does.
dangerous thing is for now until eternity, you go on to
I
Pokemon Center and everything is MSRP because that means people prices will never be able to rise before that. And that's why Pokemon Center normally should be the last like
so
booster boxes to be bought out. So once you see prices like at release, they'll call it between 100 and 115 at release, and then
but isn't that
supply
what we
gets
want?
eaten up and it creeps back up to the 144. And then once it hits that price, then Pokemon Center starts getting bought up.
But isn't that what we want? Because
It,
back
it
to the health of the hobby, we want it to be available. In my mind, here's what should happen. For you could copy and paste this for every block. Like people that have been around this game long enough, y'all realize we deal in blocks, right? Like just like Magic does, we deal in blocks. The block that's in print and legal to play should be widely available for purchase at near MSRP, right around. If we want to argue $10 lower, $10 higher, we're arguing minutia that doesn't friggin' matter. That's how it should be. Now, long term, take a block, take a set. So there's roughly 2 years. We're in this cycle where it's like 2 years of blocks per generation of Pokemon ish. So you get Sword and Shield year one, Sword and Shield year two.
yeah.
So whatever generation of Pokemon we're in, once that rotates out, so like we're about to enter into a whole new era with Scarlet and Violet. You take now Sword and Shield in my mind moves to the second oldest generation. Now, if you want to speculate of when that happens, which stuff is going to retain its value and go up this way, look to which sets are good sets. I think that if you like your vivid voltage is not going to be your darkness ablaze are not really going to be your best place. None of that should be where you'd be putting your money right now, thinking you're going to flip it in the next year and a half or the next year or whatever it is. Like when
But there's
all
a
right,
lot of people would argue that that's not true, though.
well
Like,
that's but I would argue that those people are not good for the hobby. That is not what Pokemon is intending. They are not intending for you to be able to buy shit year one and flip it year two. They're intending for the cards to be available for the masses to purchase and enjoy for a year or 2 or 3 years till that rotates out. And that's the way it's always been. That's the way it's always been. Pokemon intends for their in-print stuff to be enjoyed by as much and consumed as much as possible at near MSRP to be enjoyed by friends, family, and whatever. And then after that, they don't care. Then it goes to an item that's not in print, and then the market can take it where it wants to because it's no longer being made. But for stuff that's being made, I think the people that are like, well, should I invest in the UPC because it might go up $100? Just why? Why are you trying to make like that much off of such a like? Why are you thinking you can't predict this stuff that short term because Pokemon could just throw curveballs at us all the time and just
they
make
could.
more of it.
Pokemon went out of their way to say we're not printing any more celebrations. Now, Pokemon could, I guess. They could do. That's the thing. Pokemon could do whatever they want at any point,
Sure.
and they don't have to do things that make sense to us, right?
Right. Now,
Like
I think
I'll tell you something. You want to talk about a fragile product right now and a fragile price is Sword and Shield base booster boxes and Rebel Clash booster boxes. Now, are as time goes by, the reprints of those sets is becoming more and more unlikely.
true.
But if Pokemon wanted to
Yeah.
and just say, we're going to dump Sword and Shield base, we're going to dump Rebel Clash on the
I don't think they
market,
will.
we're going to do Evolving Skies.
They
And then
could do Evolving Skies. That I think they're going to do.
I think Evolving Skies it's not a question of if, it's just a matter of when. And I in my
But
personal opinion, I think Pokemon's already currently printing Evolving Skies, meaning that reprint is just being printed
I
right
can
now.
tell you this from just, do you have a distributor?
No.
So I call my distributor on a weekly, and I always ask for more product now because of whatnot. So I cannot buy shit right now. The days of being able to buy, so up until 2 weeks ago, I could call and order as much fusion as I wanted or in chilling ranges. I still as I want it. It's gone. Astral Radiance, one wave. Well, they're printing something, and it's not just these collection boxes. Like they're printing something. The
Why do you think that is though? Or do you think okay,
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go?
I think they're ramping for Pokemon Go personally.
Okay.
Um, and with
So
a
we
reprint.
think about what we just had happen though. So, and this is definitely tinfoil hat, but I love good tinfoil hat. Is when Pokemon did their big dump when they dumped all that Chilling Rain, Battle Styles, and Evolving Skies. That like, oh hey, by the way, we have all these booster boxes. You're getting all your waves this week. There had to have been some sort of calculated decision by Pokemon to dump all that at once. Now,
No, what happened was there was a manufacturing lag in the shipping. So this is there was a delay because that was right when all of the shipping problems were happening on the West Coast.
yeah,
Those waves were not supposed to hit when they did. And then what happened was is they all hit and not everybody wanted to pick up their allocations. So a lot of distributors created bundle deals for a lot, and they gave people like myself an opportunity to buy stuff because a lot of the big boxers didn't take it because the
okay,
waves they were not that was not the way that they were supposed to be released, but because of external factors that got screwed up, that's when they ended up having, and they have to dump the product. I mean, they can't just sit on it forever. I mean, they needed to get it out, but it was not how they intended to do that. It was a one-off type scenario. I do think they are. I think I would not be surprised if they're cranking evolving now. Now I don't care though. I
oh,
I
I don't
wanted
care.
to.
I don't care either. But I mean,
I
it's
I think it'll get consumed. I think the market will eat it up. Evolving skies. I think it will dip the price maybe back to MSRP per box, and then people
I think
will
it's
eat
you'll
it.
see prices drop to $100.
Hmm.
I think your P football Pete's out there would just bury people.
I don't think so. I don't think that the reprint's going to be large enough. That may happen for a week, but I think it'll start to go right back up. It
So
is,
and oh yeah, oh yes, low prices for Evolving
yeah.
Skies would definitely be a temporary thing. But I
Okay.
think one of the things going against reprints, and it's the same for any reprint, is the people that wanted their positions already and build positions probably already did build their positions in Evolving Skies, and they're just sitting on it, right?
I'm sitting on 3 cases. I want more.
Yeah.
I I get people asking me to open it all the time, and I don't want to open it right now because I know it's a good set to hold. Um, I would hold 10 more cases if I could get it long term. And I would buy more to open. Like I want more of it. I haven't even I've opened one booster box for myself. Like I would probably pick up just myself 20, 30, 40 cases if I could. Open some, keep some, sell some. Like it's just a great set. It's um yeah, I card shop, I need more evolving skies. Um
I'm gonna
yeah, it's the only modern set I honestly feel that if it got reprinted would be I don't even think if Brilliant Stars got another reprint, it would take longer, I think, to consume. And I don't think it would Like long term, I still think Brilliant Stars is a good set to keep some of that available. And and a lot of this speculation about investability in these sets really goes to how you're going to sell it too. Like booster boxes, being able to sell sealed booster boxes on eBay, which is where a lot of people go to sell their Pokemon cards. Um, that's a whole different conversation than your pack opener, your YouTuber, your Twitcher, your guy on whatnot. Like those people are going to be able to move at a higher percentage and a higher profitability sealed product a couple years from now. Like if you're selling on a live platform and you come out of nowhere 2 years from now and you're like, hey guys, today we're going to open Evolving Skies, your viewer base is going to be like, holy shit, here we go, how much you charging? Because like if it's that hard to get, like you're going to be able to get more for it than if you will just dropping booster boxes on eBay. um that's why I want more of it than I did not so long ago, because I want a good inventory to be able to go, hey, what do I want to open 2 years from now? Let me go pull up Evolving Skies box out of my inventory. Let's open this today.
Yeah.
Like I don't see me doing that with like Vivid Voltage or Darkness Ablaze and really having anybody really care as much about it. Like,
Not in the future. I don't.
yeah,
I think it's gonna be you. That's the thing. You could talk about every set and every timeline, and you can make the same like conversations, the same argument that there's just sets that people want open and sets that there people don't.
name me a set pre black and white that people would not be excited to open.
Jungle, fossil, but no, maybe that's a cop out. People would still be excited to open that. All right, pre black and white that
And I'll
people
tell
would.
you the reason why once you figure out the answer is zero.
So pretty much all Wizard of the Coast is out. I'm thinking Diamond and Pearl, maybe. Nah, people like Call of Legends. Legend or Arc. Nope, I can't think of one. Yeah,
Because of the Pokemon that are in the sets.
yeah.
People have a stronger tie to the first one to
It's the
four generations.
generation of
It
Pokemon. You're right. I was
is. You're
I was going
absolutely
I
right.
was going through a
Yes.
bunch of sets in my head. And I'm like, fuck, there's a banger in there.
Which
Like
is
banger in there.
why the modern sets that had Gen 1 through Gen 4 favorites do better.
Yeah, even
The
but
modern
there.
Pokemon suck. They just do.
Yeah.
No one has emotional ties to them yet. Now, could that change 10
But let me
years from
ask you,
now?
so Diamond and Pearl with your Piplups and stuff, like was that? Yeah, but see, that's the thing is
Yes, the answer.
Every Diamond and Pearl set has a ton of Gen 1 starters. And you think about like
Yes, they do.
think about like Secret Wonders. What makes Secret Wonders a great set?
It has the Charizard and the
It
Blastoise
has
and the V.
exactly
Yes,
that, and that's
exactly.
just the Gen 1. Yeah,
Now, why is that? Because when the pool of Pokemon was smaller, they had less to pull from.
yep.
They
So they had to.
The more we're going to go into the future and see Gen 10, 11, 12, 13, if you're pulling Gen 6 and 7 Pokemon, it's not going to hit the same.
Yeah, Pokemon DNA said EX Hidden Legends. Dude, EX Hidden Legends when it
It's a
comes to EX
fantastic
cards
set.
is stacked.
It
For a
is.
non-gold star set, EX cards, that set is stacked. That is EX Hidden Legends might not be like a huge hand favorite, but when you start to look at the EX cards in it, it's like banger after banger.
It's true. And okay, so let's say you could name one or two, maybe not the best. But still, when everybody looks back, most of them are banger sets because people to this day still identify with the first 1 through 4 generations the most.
Yeah.
Now, this may change going forward with the
But it
kids becoming adults.
Yeah, it is funny though that you said besides black and white because black and white is when it really the early black and white
I
stuff.
said pre-black and white because
Yeah, you
that's
did. So it became harder. But once you go the black and white, it becomes a little easier because then you get everybody's
yes,
pop out. Black and white base is a pretty lackluster set, with the exception of your Zekrom and stuff, like the first ever full art cards, but then Emergent Powers is such a bad set
It's
as an
true.
opener. Like you could get the Tornadus and stuff in there, but that's not anybody's fan favorite.
My
But like Dark Explorers has some decent cards. Dragons Exalted has some decent
that's a good
cards.
set. I like that
Yeah,
set.
a lot of people like Dragon. Uh, I mean the plasma sets, depending on who you are, like Plasma Storm is definitely better than all the others.
Plasma Storm's a good set.
Yeah. So
But again,
it's just answering your question, or it's reaffirming your question. So
my fiance is watching. She's like, "Are you wearing a lab coat?" She has no idea. I'm explaining to
shout
her.
out to Echo's fiance. Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks, man.
All right, so I did want to open up to some questions.
Yeah.
First question was somebody asked if they come in on the Zoom call. Your people are always welcome on these Zoom calls. The only thing is if I don't personally know you and I haven't vetted you before, I can't just put you on the live. But if you want to reach out to me privately and we get to know each other, then yes, there's always that. Marty the Martian said, why is there still Evolving Skies sleeve packs available if Evolving Skies is so hot? If it's only booster boxes people want. Ooh, that's interesting.
Where do you see sleep packs available?
They're,
I don't.
they just pop back up on Pokemon Center.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I don't know if
Oh,
they're still available, but the 3-pack blisters were coming for a while too.
oh, I know what I'm doing right after this video then.
It's just
I didn't know that. See, I think a lot of that might that people don't like. I didn't know that they were available in Pokemon Center.
Yeah, so let me look. We could look right now, Pokemon Center. See if they're still available.
They're not going to be in a minute.
I doubt we could buy out Pokemon Center as
I'm about to try.
uh
Oh, these plushies are adorable. I want the
Oh.
Leafeon. I
Yep,
have
so
the,
so they're sleeve blisters are currently available on Pokemon Center, $3.99 a piece.
good to
No
know.
no maximum. But all right, so let's answer that question though. So why is that?
I don't think a lot of people know to look on Pokemon Center.
Yeah, I think people are heavily looking at Evolving Skies as an investment vehicle, and they are looking at lowest cost per pack. So again, I don't understand the buyer who's buying Evolving Skies at 180. I don't get it. I'll never understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me, especially like he just said. You could go buy 36 of those at whatever 145 if you're spending 44 or $4 a piece. So I think that's just a definition of people trying to stonk out.
Yeah.
Ancient Muse said, do you think alt arts are here to stay? For the near term, they are. I don't know about permanent.
So I think, yeah, I think that they're going to continue into Scarlet and Violet. That's my guess. I hope they do. I
Yeah.
like them. I really do.
Jacob Rodriguez says, I've been wanting to really, really invest in celebrations. Do you think that's a good idea or no? Would love to hear your thoughts. If you wanted to invest in celebrations, like you had your opportunities.
Yeah, I think a lot of people held off, including myself. I think a lot of people held off because they thought it was going to be around for a little bit longer, and people got sick of opening it. Like my only complaint about celebrations is that it wasn't a bigger set. I wanted it to be a bigger set. I think it's really easy to complete, and I think it turned a lot of people off as to how easy of a set it was to complete. And a lot of people didn't think really long term on that. I do think celebrations is a good speculation if you're looking 5 years from now. It would not be a bad idea to pick up some easily storable. This is where I don't know about Card Shop. I know he hates ETBs. I think Celebrations ETBs are good because they're compact. You get one of the products with the most packs in them and the most compact storage vehicle to actually store in your home if you want it to.
Well, that's a fantastic point. Is the storage space that sealed product takes up is
insane,
miserable. Like, so all the Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs, I just been doing the limit of 4. And when you do the limit of 4, they send them to you straight in the sealed case.
Yeah,
like,
I have one. Yeah, yeah.
Stop tape on and everything. So
Yep.
I now have like those boxes stacked up, and
yeah,
it's.
What do you do with all that shit? Like, you can't put it in the attic. You can't put it in the basement.
And mine's in the basement. It displays. I tell this all the time. My Pokemon collection displays like trash. And
So does mine.
you want an example of a collection? Like, go look at Cool Trainers Ryan's collection.
I know.
Multi-million-dollar collection displays like shit. There's
He
no way
that
to
video of
display that.
Rev taking the tour through his house, like
Oh yeah,
it's just like who lives in
it's
that? You
it's
just,
it's a wall of cardboard boxes.
oh
Like,
my God.
that's how my collection is. Not to the Cool Trainer Ryan
Oh
extent,
no.
obviously, but like when you talk about sealed product at that scale, when you're talking about investability, because when you're talking the investability of like a slab or something, you send it to your PWCC vault as long as
Sure.
it has a market value of over $250, you have lifetime storage of $0. Like, that card takes up no room. Or just so think of any box, that
Well, my other
that
hobby,
Pokemon cards come in, and how many slabs can you fit in that box
true.
opposed to, or a binder? How many cards can you fit in a binder opposed
Yeah,
to sealed product? Like,
that's a big
space,
thing.
space is an issue.
My other hobby that I'm getting out of now, I've collected Transformers since I was 2 or
That's an
3.
awesome hobby.
It is. It's a lot of fun. And I have my original goal was to get all Generation 1, all waves of Generation 1 mint and sealed box. Um, but after that was complete, then I moved on to Beast Wars. Then I moved on to all the recent stuff that's been made. And now there's third party companies that just make it's endless. My point is it's endless. Having moved on with my life as such, I've making the decision to start offloading this stuff. My goal of having a man cave with glass display cases and lights and all sorts of shit, the way I envisioned it, never gonna happen. Never gonna happen.
Yeah, I did that with movie posters once.
Oh, cool.
And then the logistics of hanging up a shitload of movie posters doesn't make any
Right.
sense
And
when
then
I
and
have all my other stuff.
yeah, exactly. So I'm now pulling this stuff down out of my attic and stuff. And I, I never even like you don't get to enjoy it. Sealed collections of anything, unless you have a lot of space.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's tough.
it's really tough. It's really tough. And then you start to get into the mindset of, well, what the fuck excuse me, like what the hell do I even
You can
have this stuff
fucking
for?
swear on this channel all you want.
What do I even have this stuff for if I can't enjoy it? Like, what's the
Yeah,
point? I don't
yeah.
know. So, um,
So yeah,
if you want to buy celebrations to store some of it, is it going to be that it could very well be the next
I I look at celebrations. I think you just got to go back as to like Champions Path. How's Champions Path perform? And I think it's going to be a similar trajectory.
I think it'll be better than that. I think it'll be
Eh,
better than that. It has a
Maybe
Charizard in it. It has a Charizard in it.
it's got the
Every
nostalgic feel.
every one of those people like to say, well, it's the fourth reprint of the others. The other three are doing just fine. And unlike the one from Evolutions, it's a direct reprint.
Yes, it is, and it's a reprint. We haven't seen a direct reprint since Legendary Collection.
It's true. That
We
artwork,
saw the the Stormfront reprint, but that was different.
I do love that card.
Speaking of Diamond and Pearl sets that were just bangers, Stormfront was a banger.
It was. I love that card.
I'm gonna try we're gonna see if how many of these questions we could burn
Okay.
through. And so we'll probably like try to keep them super short. Australian Blastoid said, question. In the event of another boom in the hobby, are you selling off your sealed / slabs investments or holding on to another possible further boom with the thoughts of these booms are an ongoing thing? I could say for me is right now I am actively acquiring positions with the intention to sell a lot of that. Same thing with a lot of the sealed that I am currently collecting and as an investment, I'm getting multiples of that sealed for investment purposes. So I will always have sealed for my personal collection, but then I'm also getting sealed to sell. Same thing with cards, slabs, stuff like that.
Same exact thing. And if
Yep.
you think about it, that's the way you're supposed to trade stocks. You sell in the highs, you buy in the lows. It's
Yep.
always cyclical.
Let's see. Any more questions?
Let's
All right. Poke knowledge. He said, okay, let me know this at Poke Knowledge. Would you rather buy Sword and Shield base or Evolve and Skies at 190 per box? I wouldn't buy either one of those.
I would not buy either one of those at 190 a box.
No, not at 190. Sword and Shield, we were all around for Sword and Shield base, man. Hopefully you acquired your Sword and Shield base box for way less than 190. Like, I think you had a 2-year window that you could have acquired. So, like, this is my argument when it comes to Sword and Shield base at 190. If you wanted to acquire position in that, why didn't you? When, I mean, Sword and Shield booster boxes probably hit a low of $100 even in the peak, right? The peak of peaks, it was $100. So you definitely, and now Evolving Skies at 190 per box, same thing. Like, I mean, you asking you, Echo, you have direct relationship for distributors. You're not spending 190 a box. You're picking it up at 82.50 or 86.50 or whatever your distributor agreement is. You know, that's what you're picking it up at. So I would say I'm not touching either one of those booster boxes at 190. That my positions are already built at lower prices, and hopefully everybody's are.
Don't buy booster boxes above MSRP.
Yeah.
That's my answer. Don't buy booster boxes for investments at over MSRP.
So Mike asked, long shot, with the new printers, you think they would do the Cosmic Eclipse reprint they planned on way back, but cancel maybe due to not having the capacity and had to prioritize? I think Cosmic Eclipse is
Done and gone.
Yeah, done and gone. I think
we got a small reprint. Well, we didn't get a reprint. They cleared the warehouse in the recent Pokeball tins. We got packs of Cosmic in the recent Pokeball tins.
I think if you guys are, for whatever reason, didn't acquire positions in Cosmic Eclipse, now's your chance. Packs, because of all the products that it's in, Cosmic Eclipse will be available right now at a cheaper price, but don't expect to see booster boxes in the future. Like, nah. But you definitely have entry opportunities right now in single packs and products that have it in it.
Would you trade the Rainbow Charizard V-Star for the Charizard Alt Art? Yes, in a half second.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm not a huge Rainbow fan, and plus that V-Star or the Alt Art with the Venusaur in the background and Charizard fighting it, and like the just
awesome card.
Yeah, I think when people look back on Sword and Shield and somebody does a top 10 list and they say, what were the top 10 best artworks of Sword and Shield, meaning Sword and Shield base to the end of Sword and Shield, that card will hit top 10 lists.
Quick point. When the hell are they going to make a Blastoise alt art? Just saying.
Dude, there's a lot of Blastoise fans out there been asking that same question. Blastoise never gets love though.
Never gets no love. Like,
I mean, so the Radiant collection from Pokemon Go. Now we haven't seen the leaks of what those cards actually look like. The Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, have we?
Oh, are they confirmed?
Yeah, so they're confirmed. Those are going to be the
nice. No, we have not. No,
we don't know what they look like. So I've already kind of went on the record as saying I think Pokemon Go has a potential to be a stinker set, but super early on. Like, I'm hoping I'm proved wrong when the set gets released, because I want to say it's only like 72 cards or something. So it's not a massive set, which I think is a good thing.
I think it's a
good
thing.
Will be able to build the set and like collect it. I don't know.
All right, we got a CGC question.
Oh boy, here we go. Everybody buckle in.
So, Poke Collectibles asked it. Thoughts on grading CGC given the price compared to PSA and the reality that $20 grading may be off for a while. 10 seem easier to get now. Well, I have my cards there now. They just got entered in. I took 15 9.5s and I'm testing that theory. To see how many of them pull the 10s. So I'm very curious to see that. Listen. CGC, CGC has graded in their small time on this earth grading Pokemon cards, has graded what are we up to? Half the amount of cards that PSA has graded, or a third of the amount total, 1.5 million to 3 million or something like that.
No, I think PSA is way more than that. PSA.
Well, hold on. Let me go over to
just last month alone. I think they graded over 200,000 Pokemon cards alone. There's no way.
Yeah, no, they are. The CGC's pop report. I remember when Dan did his video on this, it was like 1/3 of the amount of total Pokemon cards so far that PSA has graded. CGC has graded. Like, it's like 1.5 million so far. Hang on, where's Pokemetrics?
So what was the
Pokemon.
CGC question? Are they giving out more, or is CGC a viable option with
Is
them
it a
giving
viable
out?
option with the fact that PSA is not going
Nope.
to open?
And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because right now, CGC 10s, they hold a premium because they were supposed to be harder to get. Once that floodgates open, PSA 10s will sell for more because that's just the market. And I think we're already starting to see that with like PWCC recent sales.
I would agree. I think it depends on what you want to do. If you want to maximize your value, hold your cards. I mean, we're only talking another year or so. If you're and when I say like if you're going to take a 20, you're going to take a 20 or 30% hit on prices in the same equivalent grade, and you're going to get a harder grade. Your cards are not going to be now if that does not matter to you personally and you're like, hell, I gotta be able to make $20 on this card some way or another because I gotta feed my family.
But if it's going to matter to you in the future, though,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
If you're hard, like if anyone out there is hard up and they want to offload their collectibles because you got personal life shit going on, yeah, CGC may be an option for you. You can offload your cards. You might make 20% less, but you'll still make some money off of your graded cards. Um, but if you have it in you and you have the ability to hold your cards, I'd hold it them. Like I'd hold it them. Like the meme. Like I would not send them. Um, there might be some plays there with modern alt arts. And I haven't really looked into modern alt art prices, but this is one thing I was considering. A lot of those alt arts aren't worth sending to PSA at 50 a pop. Um, but they might be worth they might and I don't know. It would depend on with a grade. If a CGC 9 is not going to get you much more above market than a raw card equivalent, then no, you're not, I would say do not send them. But if you can get 20, you have to work the math out. If a CGC 9 alt art Charizard gets you 30% more than a raw one, then yeah, you could probably grade it for $12 and make because the turnaround time is really fast right now. It is really fast.
Dude, you want
Um,
to see a crazy price disparity? Look at CGC 9.5s or CGC 9s opposed to the raw price of that card, and then factor in grade in, you lose money on a
do
lot of
you?
those.
Then hell no. Then don't see. That's the math I haven't done. But
Yeah,
if
you
you look
you actually lose money when you consider if you sold that card raw opposed to grade in it.
right, because everybody has that. Well, it could be a PSA 10. Let me
Yep.
buy it. It's yeah. That makes sense. So I mean, now I will say this though, being in doing live streams, people love graded cards. I've sold a lot of graded. They don't care. They don't care. And they make good prizes. I've actually went through and purchased a lot of CGC 9 baby shinies, CGC 9 hidden fates. People see a Gardevoir, shining Gardevoir in a case, and they're like, "Oh, I want that." Like they make good prizes. So it depends on what your business model and your business strategy is. But I would say for the large, I know we went through short answers. For the large majority of people out there, no, I would wait. I would wait unless you're very specific reason to do it.
Do you see any more questions?
Let's see. Oh, go back far enough. Any reason to buy single packs over ETBs or booster boxes? I'd say no, unless the promo in the sleep blisters is a cool promo.
Yeah,
Um,
that's my exact answer. No reason, especially like Fusion Strike. Those are weighable packs.
oh, really?
Yeah, the early ones were weighable. People proved it to be true.
Did not
For
know that.
modern, that's almost impossible, but
Did not know that. Uh, shiny
like
BS.
Sun and Moon base, those original booster boxes, they were mappable, stuff like that.
Yeah, that
Be
are.
mindful of that stuff.
Let's see. Any other questions? Going back up.
I feel like Old Card Shop always asks a good question. I don't see him asking any of them. Oh yeah, CGC is now grading tops cards.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Um, They did just recently, they did say that they're going to hold grading those metal Charizards.
So this question's been asked more than once. The Green Shiz says if Echo base and top 10 Pokemon were in an MMA match, who wins? I've already said it. It's 4-1 odds on you, man. There's no way.
I don't know who top 10 Pokemon is. Maybe it'll come up.
Top 10's good.
Is he? Yeah.
He does like the top 10 recent eBay auctions and stuff, and he goes through like highest prices sold.
Okay, that's cool.
But
Oh
man,
yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not gonna say anything, but I see what you're saying. Okay.
But no, we've gone on for about 2 hours now, so
Yeah.
this is a good point to wrap up. But I'm gonna say it again. If you guys have just joined this stream, hit the pause button of this video right now. In the description of this video is Echo's YouTube channel. Click on the link, quickly hit subscribe to his channel. If you guys like good content, if you like a great rant video, go 2 videos back on his channel when he's driving. The rant A++, like fantastic. You need to be subscribed to this man's channel, and if you're not, you're doing something wrong in this hobby.
Thanks,
But
PK.
with that said, Joe, you're one of my favorite guests to have on this channel. I always enjoy our conversations. I think you're just so knowledgeable. The views you bring, the mindset you bring is so distinctively you. And I think that's the best way to put it. Like,
Thanks, man.
You have very distinctive views. And while I agree with a lot of them, I disagree with some of them. Like, we have great rapport, we have great back and forth. I think that's what makes like awesome conversations. And you always bring that to the table every time, like slam dunk. So
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, same. You're one of my favorite people to talk to. Awesome. So cool. I love your lives. They're awesome.
And I appreciate you donating me your time and, what you're doing for the community, how you're interacting, like you're just all around, just great dude.
Thanks, man.
Super appreciative of you coming on the channel. And then for everybody else out there watching this video, I know I could speak for Joe on this one. We appreciate every single one of you guys that joined in, wrote a comment, everything. You guys are the best. You guys are the reason we're doing this, and you guys make this hobby better for both of us by your engagement. So
yeah, I love seeing all the guys in the chat. I literally have like the whole lineup in here tonight. It's fantastic.
It's like these guys are my friends now. So
I know it's crazy. And I'm gonna go back. Like, one of the things I like to do when the lives are over, I always go back and I read the chats because they're hard to keep up with while we're doing it. But I always they're hilarious. I love to go back and read the chats.
It's so painful that for some reason the live chat replay doesn't go on till YouTube finish processing. So sometimes it's like a 14-hour lag time, and it drives me nuts. But all right, guys.
Cool.
We appreciate every single one of you guys out there.
Been awesome.
Great chat. We'll catch you guys on the next video.
See you.